prepares to flip the fall. It's a hot, steamy summer afternoon in Bowling Green, Ohio. Time for college football as the visitors from the Sun Belt Conference, the Jags of South Alabama, affectionately known as USA, will take on the Bowling Green Falcons of the Mid-American Conference. Former Penn State and NFL star Tyoka Jackson. I'm Jim Barber, and today we're going to have a treat for you. We've got a couple of players out here that are going to make this game very exciting offensively, and we might see them on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays in the NFL someday.
Both offenses have veteran quarterbacks and real playmakers at the skill position, so there's a good chance the scoreboard operator will earn their money today.
South Alabama wide receiver number 5, Jalen Tolbert, is worth watching today. He can put points on that board very quickly. NFL scouts are drooling over this kid.
Tolbert is as good a receiver as there is in America. NFL size and speed is what he has. Listen, Bowling Green's going to have to make a decision. Do they bring the blitz? And if they do, they better get home, because if he's loose, he will abuse your secondary.
On the offensive side, number 3, Matt McDonald for Bowling Green. Coach and offensive coordinator for Falcons both say he's a work in progress.
Well, the offense is a work in progress. They got a lot of new guys, talented guys, but they're young and inexperienced. They got one guy they can rely on, and that's Matt McDonald. He's been here for a while. There isn't anything he hasn't seen. He has complete control of the offense. He spreads it around, too. 6 receivers caught it for him last week. They need to keep him upright to get the big upset this week.
McDonald, you mentioned him. You mentioned one of the receivers. That's Austin Osborne, who, by the way, had 8 catches last week on Rocky Top on a Thursday night and a loss to Tennessee. So we'll take a look at number 18, and he'd probably be very active on offense today, as we expect a lot of points on both sides of the field. Coming up, college football from Falcon Stadium. South Alabama head coach is Kane Womack. He was hired on December 12th of 2020, just 34 years of age. And that time when he was hired, he was the youngest coach in FBS. On the other side, 12 years plus, is Scott Loeffler, age 46. And Loeffler is calling this maybe his greatest rebuild assignment, and he thinks it'll happen within 5 years.
Yeah,
Tyoka.
He thinks he's ahead of schedule, too. I mean, they've got a bunch of guys through the portal. They got a lot of young players that are developing on the fly, but they've got some good athletes, and so clearly they got a bright future.
Falcons are in orange and brown as they prepare to kick off, and Team USA in the white with the red jerseys. Sit back and get comfortable. College football is underway, and this went into the end zone will bring the football out to the 25-yard line. Well, South Alabama lit it up last week and went over Southern Miss, trailing 7-0 in that game before it went on to win by several scores, and a lot had to do with their starting quarterback, Jake Bentley. He's been around. He's been in different programs, but this kid threw for almost 600 yards against Clemson. And here Clemson won a title.
Yeah, he's a really good football player. He can move the ball with his legs. He's got a good arm. Had a great outing last week as well.
Where's the lucky 13? He'll operate from the shotgun in the first play of the game. Here comes pressure. And he's going to be brought down. Bowling Green hoping to get some pressure from the edges. And on this particular play, 56 for Bowling Green. That's Walter Hare. He's the old man on this team, 24 years of age, made the tackle.
As a defensive lineman, I can't tell you how good it feels to start the ball game with the sacks. Everything that comes out today is going to be gravy for him.
Man in motion, they'll swing it to the outside, and Bowling Green covers that as well. A loss back to the 19, brings up 3rd and 16 as number 7, Davon Ferguson, there to make the tackle.
Very physical and outside. Beat the block and make the tackle. I don't want corners that can just cover. Give me guys that can beat blocks and make tackles downhill. Great job by Ferguson.
Now the line to gain is the 35-yard line.
What a great start early on for the Falcon defense. They're flying around now.
Well, if you're Eric Lewis, whom we spoke to prior to the game, he's got to be thrilled with the start. He's the defensive coordinator. His famous father, Sherman Lewis, who spent a number of years in the NFL.
Great coordinators, assistant coaches of all time in the National Football League.
3rd and 16, almost a give-up play. And that goes for a loss. How about that? 3 tackles for losses right off the start.
Well, Darren Anders, we're going to see him a lot. This guy's a downhill linebacker. He snuffed the draw out right now, and that's a TFL, folks.
Anders had 14 tackles against Tennessee. Where's 23? He also forced a fumble, recovered a fumble. He had a sack, and he was the MAC Eastern Player of the Week defensively. So the Falcons are going to get great field position off this punt from the goal line. If they can get rid of it, and it's blocked, and that'll be a safety. We saw Toledo so efficient at it last week. And how about the Falcons with the pressure immediately? And it is 2-0 in favor of Bowling Green.
I mean, how about this start? I mean, 3 and out, lights out defense, and then the other phase steps through and blocks the punt.
Number 12 is Elijah Eberhardt, who was in to help out on that block. And so Bowling Green now gets the football with a 2-point lead.
Well, I'm telling you right now, Coach Ligashevsky, the special teams coach for the Bowling Green Falcons, I mean, you talking about a great start. He is feeling really good right now. I know Coach Lig from the NFL. He's been around a long time. He's an excellent coach, and you can't undervalue the importance of the kicking game, and you saw it change the scoreboard right there in the first series of the game.
He was teasing you about something prior to the game, about some type of exercise or sprint or something you used to run?
Well, I mean, when I got in trouble, we all ran sprints, but I wanted to brag to him about being in the 10th year in the league and running down the field and making a kickoff coverage tackle. That's a D lineman, 10 years in the league. You don't see that.
you told all his guys that when they came over to shake hands.
That
was
right.
Nice.
That's right.
So what a start for the Falcons, who were competitive really last week against Tennessee, trailing 14-6 late first half, and then pure talent just took over in a 30-6 win.
And they had a lot of guys that didn't play, and you know they got some people that are going to be coming back this week, and they feel real good about where they are. Certainly the scoreboard wasn't where they wanted last week against a Power 5 opponent, but they liked the way their team competed for 4 quarters. They liked the effort that they gave, and so right now you can see they're fired up. No hangover from last week.
So a baseball score start to this game with the safety. So that'll be a chance for Matt McDonald to go to work here for Bowling Green. We highlighted him in the open. You see Mr. Embry involved in the previous play. And the spot will be from the 34-yard line. Pretty good field position, Tioka to start.
It is.
McDonald's got some good-looking running backs like number 4, Terrion Stewart, who he'll depend on the time. This is play action to start the game. And a little bit wide on the throw. Incomplete. That was intended for the tight end Christian Sims. They didn't have him available, by the way, against Tennessee, but after recovering from COVID, he's back.
Yeah, they said he'd be a guy they try to feature. I like the call because it's a very safe play to get your quarterback warmed up, but Chris Henderson got up the field and made him force a really bad throw to make it an incomplete pass. Good job by the defensive end, Chris Henderson.
They'll send Austin Osborne out as a slot receiver on second down. He makes the catch. Well, what did you talk about throwing to a lot of receivers today? We're going to see Osborne and probably call him a lot.
And you're going to see a lot of these plays, these bubble screens, tunnel screens, getting the ball out of his hands quickly. McDonald, when he does that, he takes pressure off this offensive line. This offensive line is a patchwork O-line, Jim. And so the best way to help that is to get the ball out of your hands quickly. That's self-preservation as well. But they're going to need to make plays. They're going to need to block on the perimeter to make them successful.
So both teams have been in 3rd and long. This is the Falcons' try, needing to gain the football to the 44. It is 3rd and 10. McDonald by himself in the shotgun. Against pressure, incomplete. So 2 incompleted passes on this series, and Bowling Green now must give up the football. So didn't take advantage of the safety in a good field position.
Yeah, and Matt looked like he rushed that throw to me. I mean, he had a good pocket. He was clean. His footwork looked hurried, and you know, when it comes to quarterbacks, people talk about arm strength, but really what happens below your waist is going to make a determination of how good the throw was. Bad footwork, bad throw.
Matt Naranjo will punt. He's 96, and Lacey is back for South Alabama as the sole receiver around the 15-yard line. Clean punt there. Lacey will let it bounce. And then he'll catch inside the 10. Makes one man miss and another. And a nice run back of about 10 yards, despite the fact that he fielded the ball inside the 10. 2-0 start, Bowling Green, and back on offense, USA. Bowling Green with a 2-run homer in this game, leading 2-0, 3 minutes in. Jim Barber and Tioka Jackson as South Alabama takes over on offense for the second time today. That last series was going nowhere with 3 losses of 6 yards and then the block punt.
Yeah, and we talked about the offenses, but look, you know, special teams can score too. If you're USA, I think you got to get your running game established, and that'll open up the downfield passes to Tolbert.
To the run game to start, and that one, if they're lucky, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Well, last week I had Toledo, which is in the neighborhood of Bowling Green, 2 block punts, back-to-back, both scoops for scores, which you rarely see.
That's crazy. And as you saw, they're trying to run the football. Listen, you got to call it. Sometimes you're not successful. You got to call it, let the defense see it, just so they're not teeing off on your quarterback. And by the way, they want to run the football. They want to be balanced. They weren't able to do it last week, but they're going to try to establish it today.
So 4 plays on offense for USA and 0 yards gained. In fact, they've lost 6. Penalty flag on the play, and Bentley just gets rid of it. As the side judge makes the call, find out what it's about. It might be illegal motion on USA, but we'll wait and see.
Right now, early, Darren Anders is all over the field. I mean, whether it's the run game or the pass, he's doing it all.
Going to bring up a 3rd and 10. Our referee today is Wayne Winkler. Brendan Ellison, the umpire. Jonathan Eubanks is the head linesman. Side judge is Chip Shields. Christopher Hess, line judge Albert Bryant, field judge Brett Toney, back judge. Center judge is Michael Sweatman. Replay official John Allman. They're all from the Sun Belt Conference. Need to pick up 10, setting up a screen. And right now, the South Alabama offense, so efficient last week, is hardly on the same page.
And they had it set up. If Walker catches that ball, he's still running. A screen against the blitz is as good as it gets. So Major Applewhite is doing his job, but right now the speed of the Bowling Green defense is overwhelming the Jags.
South Alabama's already had a punt blocked, which went out of the end zone. Once again, the Falcons set to get good field position. This punt gets away. It's high. It's not going very far, though. In fact, it's going to die inside the 40. And Bowling Green's going to have terrific field position, flipping the field, and a short field to work with. 11:14 remaining in the opening quarter. Falcons back on offense and in position to add to their score. A sun-drenched crowd today. Temperatures to reach mid-80s, maybe 90 before we stop. Bowling Green, short field to work with after the punt at the opposition South Alabama's 38-yard line. 2-0 in favor of Falcons by way of a block punt moments in. Matt McDonald, the quarterback, the Boston College transfer, and he'll do the pitch. Good second effort by Terrion Stewart. He's one of the youngsters they're pretty high on, a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, 5'9", but 210. I mean, a Maurice Jones-Drew type guy, like a bowling ball with legs. You saw him bounce off a tackle there. He's got low center of gravity. You better bring the thunder if you're trying to get number 4 down on the ground.
So how hard is it to tackle a bowling ball?
Well, it is hard, and it's slippery, right? And if those finger holes are too tight, you can't even roll it down the court, so it doesn't really matter.
Pickup of 7 on the play. This time McDonald over center. On 2nd and 3, he'll go play action. He's got a man wide open. Oh my gosh. Well, the old cliche there is he'll want that one back, as Christian Sims, who they've been using a lot, particularly now that he is off COVID alert, was wide open, might have scored on that play.
Well, Coach Malone, Terry Malone, the offensive coordinator, told us they're going to feature Sims, and he was wide open. As a quarterback, you never want to overthrow that ball. If you underthrow it, he's got a chance, but if you overthrow it, that's exactly what happens. Incomplete pass. Right now, McDonald doesn't look comfortable. He needs to settle down. He's got wide open guys. He's got to hit them.
3rd and 3. And that's going to be off a close pending spot. Outside referee says he is short, which would bring up a 4th and 1 as Jason Patterson carries, or a 4th and very close to a foot. Matt McDonald thinks it is a first down. Chains have not moved. Now it is official.
I like Patterson.
3, and that's exactly what they got.
Excuse me, Jim. I like Patterson. He's a freshman. Another one of these freshmen. Big, though. 6 feet, 215 pounds. Did you see how he finished that run off? It's run after contact. That was what was a struggle for the Jaguars defense last week. Run after contact. Again, needed 80 yards after contact.
By the way, the 3-yard gain is now under review because I want to confirm the fact it was a first down. We mentioned our replay official earlier today is probably going to be quite busy, as they typically are, John Allman. A lot of things replay officials can do. They cannot affect targeting, though. They can only confirm it. They can't call it, in other words.
I was a player. All I cared about was them calling holding. You know, as a D lineman, I got held every play in my mind.
Oh, of course.
But I never got enough flags for me, Jim. I just, I wanted more holding calls out there.
I didn't get a chance to ask Michigan's Cato June about that when we saw him on the field. Bowling Green coaches, but he was happy to see you.
Well, he's a DMV guy. We're both from the D.C. area. He went to wrong school. He went to Michigan. I went to Penn State. He won a Super Bowl. I didn't, so he's got that bragging right for life. But he's a terrific coach. He's their run game coordinator defensively, something I've never heard of in football. They got a run game coordinator on defense, and he's their linebacker coach as well. He was a terrific player in the league for a long time, and he's bringing all that experience to that college over at Bowling Green, and the players are going to be better because of it.
What did the head coach at Bowling Green, Scott Loeffler, tell us when he let Cato know who was doing the game? He said, "Oh, you mean that Penn State guy?"
Listen, man, those Michigan guys are the most pig-headed, egotistical guys. But they got good reason, though. I mean, Michigan's Big Blue. I mean, we know one of the legendary programs in all of college football. You got to give them their props.
Playing the University of Washington tonight under the stars on ABC in an 8 o'clock game.
That should be a heck of a game.
Yes. That was our referee, Wayne Winkler, then. Again, the crew is from the Sun Belt. It's 4th and 1 on the overturn. They need a yard. Did they get it? South Alabama says no way. The spot's going to give the football over the Jaguars, and their defense comes up big.
Yeah, it looked like Trey Young led the charge, and that's the type of play right there that might turn the momentum around. That's a big play now. I mean, you're setting your offense up with decent field position, but all it needed was a yard. A lot of penetration up front, couldn't get it.
Well, nothing like mentioning at the beginning this could be a big offensive show. And right now it's 2-0.
2-0. It's still early. It's still early. We might not be dead wrong.
It won't be the first time, though.
Right.
All right, the Jags have not moved the football at all on offense. What needs to happen now?
Well, again, I think they need to establish some sort of running game. I think that this defense up front is very quick. And, the Bowling Green coaching staff thinks they have a real disadvantage up front trying to block that front. You run the football at them to slow them down.
There's a positive gain of 3. It'll bring up a 2nd and 7. Running against this defense on that play, 14. Kareem Walker, and Walker is a graduate of Mississippi State, playing his final year of football with South Alabama.
Now, right now, I see number 5 appears to be in man coverage. Now, the safety's starting to cheat over, but anytime number 5 is in man coverage, you got to look his way. Now the corner's bailing off. You won't see a lot of man-to-man against that guy. I can tell you that right now.
Let's see if the quarterback, Bentley, recognizes it. He goes play action. He's got man coverage on the inside. Has a receiver at the 50-yard line. Catch made number 5. Jalen Tolbert, first catch of the day. It won't be the last one.
It will not, and it was a beautiful route. It was a 20-yard stop route, and you can't cover the guy. One-on-one, he's a man beater by himself. If the throw is accurate or anywhere close, he's going to come down with it. That won't, like you said, that won't be the last time we call his name.
No, sir. Again, more play action. Man over the middle, got him. And incomplete. By the way, we mentioned Tolbert, who is wearing 5 today, and that's a special tradition at Southern Alabama for a player that died of a motorcycle accident almost 10 years ago. And as a tribute, instead of just giving the jersey to a senior for the entire year, they traded off to a player on a weekly basis.
Yeah, Coach Ballmick decided to make it a weekly deal to keep everybody involved and keep the memory even that much fresher. But what we just saw was an anomaly. Tolbert dropped the ball in the middle of his hands. I mean, you just don't see that. He was wide open down the seam. Again, ran a great route. He's got to catch the ball.
Bentley again still has a man wide open, and that one should have been picked off. In fact, Tolbert got in the way and might have turned out to be a pass defender instead of a pass receiver. Otherwise, that had been swiped easily by number 7, the cornerback, Davon Ferguson.
Yeah, that's a great play. I mean, we won't show up in the stat sheet, but Tolbert turned to play defense because Davion was going the other way. And right now, I'm a little surprised with these quarterbacks. They seem unsettled. That's a wide open number 5 on a bench route. No pressure, and he just flat out overthrew him.
Now 3rd and 10 from the 47 of Bowling Green. Bentley with time over the middle. Tolbert will try to create here. Breaks 1 tackle. He's about a yard short. So it'll be 4th and about 1, and likely a go-for situation.
And they'll do it with tempo. Yeah, they'll do it with tempo, too, trying to catch the defense off guard. And they were about to substitute, but the tempo stopped it. Let's see what they come up with.
Quarterback on the roll. Will he keep? Looking to throw. In triple coverage. Caught. No. Another opportunity for Tolbert. And his 2nd drop in the game, and the football now gets turned over to Bowling Green.
I can't believe it. I mean, it's 2 drops on 1 drive. You see number 5, he's shocked too. No one in the stadium can believe what they're seeing right now. 2 drops by the best player on the field and one of the best receivers in America. I promise you that won't last all day, but right now it's happening and it's hurting his team, and he knows it.
We do have a win factor here today. I'm not excusing the miss, but it'd be interesting to see how receivers and quarterbacks adjust to that. Falcons have the football back. Seems like they've had the football the entire quarter from their own 39, halfway through the first quarter, in a 2-0 game. Marianne Stewart back with his quarterback. Here comes the blitz. On the run blitz, Stewart nearly got his head taken off. Flags being thrown. Let's see if there's a defensive penalty there as he's able to carry it to the 43.
I think it's going to be holding, and not just because I'm a D lineman, but the position of that flag is generally holding.
Offense number 52, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
You are correct, sir. 52, Jeremiah Banks-Well, the offensive tackle, sophomore from Chicago, is the guilty party.
How about Terrion, again, Stewart breaking tackles? The Jaguars, we talked about last week, had a problem with tackling. Looks like early on they're having some tackling issues. They got to get that shored up now. We talked about the bowling ball with legs. He's tough to tackle. You got to get down, wrap, run your feet, and get him on the ground.
On this offensive series, they'll go with 4 wideouts, 2 to each side. First down and 20 after the penalty. McDonald against 5-man blitz. Able to pick up a receiver out of the backfield past the 30-yard line. So get a little bit of it back. Pick up of maybe 3 on the play.
How about Quentin Wilfon's hustle? But the team in white right there looked like a wave. Maybe 12, 13 men on the field. It's only 11, but that's the type of pursuit and effort you need out of your defense.
Second and 18. South Alabama, which allowed just 1 touchdown, and that was at the beginning, the first quarter of its first game of the year. On defense again, 4-man front, faking a blitz. Let's see if they bring people. Again, the short game, Austin Osborne on a catch to the 35 to bring up 3rd and 14. Corey Batoon is defensive coordinator for South Alabama. He's been pretty pleased with what he's seen so far.
There's no question about it. Great driving the ball by Trey Young, but whenever an offense goes empty, Jim, that's high alert for quick passes. They're not going to be able to protect, so that ball's got to come out quick. And what you saw right now, and what you saw right there was a bunch of Jaguar defender driving on the football. This is a big play right here. Jaguars were great. The Jaguars defense were great on 3rd down last week. Let's see if they can get off the field this week.
Let's get the football to the 49 to continue to drive. Let's see if they drop in coverage here, South Alabama. Instead, they're going to come with a blitz with 5. McDonald forced out, going to try to throw on the run, and it's incomplete. So neither offense much to show for yet, as we have under 6 to go in the first quarter. And the Falcons now with a 4th and 14 will have to give up the ball.
That's a great job by the South Alabama defense. You're making them punt from almost backed up. You got to give you a chance, give your offense a chance to have decent field position with a return, but you did your job. I mean, this is a field position game right now. It's a tight defensive ball game. All the field position is going to make the difference in the world.
Scott Loeffler telling us he hopes this is going to be the greatest rebuild of his life. This is year 3. Last year counts, but the fact is last year wasn't a full year. They played just in the Mid-American Conference in games in November and early December. Colin Lacey is deep. And before this play takes part, whistle's blown.
Play of game, kicking team, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
It's one of those unforced errors, delay of game when you're going to punt the football, and you know you're going to punt the football. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah, and giving up field position in a game where field position is going to matter. We talked about it. Special teams is mattering. This is the difference in the ball game right now.
So Falcons and punter Narano will go 5 yards back to the 15. All the points in this game, all 2 of them were scored early on a block punt. Falcons have really had good field position, have not made much to their advantage because of it. Lacey going back for it by his 20. Plants the hand in the ground, picks up some momentum. He's a fun guy to watch on punt returns.
He's an exciting player. Just a freshman. Again, a lot of young guys on both sides of this football field.
So the Jaguars back on offense from the Sun Belt Conference, trailing in this game 2-0 with under 5:40 to go, first quarter. Inside the sidelines of the Jaguars, who alerted us prior to the game how hot it was in Mobile, so this is almost a pleasurable trip to Bowling Green today. The temperatures in the low 80s, expected to hit 90. This school had 13 from the transfer portal, which allows players to move as long as they let compliance know within a couple of days. The fact they want to change schools, and then everything goes in order as their credentials are presented to the outside. Those 13, by the way, are on the 2 deep of South Alabama.
Yeah.
While on the other side for Bowling Green, they have 7 Power 5 players. So it's a good chance for everybody to get well in a hurry.
Yeah, and if you're at a school, you're not getting any playing time, you're unhappy with the scheme or what they do, the transfer portal gives players options. I love it.
Talk about the disadvantages of it in a moment after the first snap of this series, which nets a couple of yards. The disadvantage is if you put yourself in the portal and nobody's interested, you may be there for a long time, or in fact, if you decide to go back to the school and say, hey, I was only kidding, turns out that they don't have to accept you back.
That's exactly right. So there is some risk to that, and also there's risk for the teams. They got to make sure that they don't get all hyped up with a Power 5 this, Power 5 that. You got to make sure you got good guys you're adding to your team.
Lacey, one of the 2 wide receivers to the near side. Bentley looking his way, goes across the middle, and it's picked off. Is that Anders? He's running it back. He's in the end zone. It's a touchdown. Well, who else? Mr. Anders, huh?
Yeah. Listen, Eric Lewis challenged Anders. They said he wants to be a first-team all-conference guy. He had 14 tackles last week. That tied his career high. And I'd say right now he's off to a first-team all-conference start. He's a great run player, but guess what? That was a zone drop, got right in the middle of the lane, caught the football, and he knew what to do with it once he did.
He's the Back East Defensive Player of the Week, and for good reason. After the 14 tackles, forced fumble, and a pick, and a fumble recovery, he's come back for an encore today.
How about that? How about the sudden change going from defense to offense?
Wow.
Picked up a lot of blocks, too.
Needham for the extra point. And missed it.
Wow.
Now this game's had a little bit of everything.
The kicking
first quarter.
Yeah, the kicking game.
Safety and a missed kick. And in this case, an interception, a pick 6 for touchdown. And it is 8-0 in favor of the Falcons. And Anders is just playing the game of his life again. He is going to be a key for Batoon's defensive group all season long. He's already been huge.
Well, he's a perfect fit for this 3-4 defense. I mean, the zone drop, excellent. Got right in the curl lane, and the quarterback, Bentley, never saw him. And so he threw a strike right to the wrong guy.
Yeah.
And again, I give credit to Anders because he caught the football. A lot of times you see defensive players drop passes right in their hands. That did not happen there. Anders is a terrific football player, and I promise you, he'll be first-team all-conference this year.
You don't expect Jake Bentley, a veteran quarterback, to make those kind of mistakes, do you?
Yeah, again, and I'm a little surprised with the performance of both quarterbacks. I mean, they have, I watched them on film. They got great mechanics. When they have time, they throw to the open guy with accuracy. And today, so far, we're not seeing that. Now, there's plenty of time in this game. They can turn it around. But it's right now, this is about special teams and the inaccuracies of the quarterbacks on both sides. That's the storyline.
Well, how happy should the defensive coordinator, Eric Lewis, be with the play of Anders today and the rest of his defense, for that matter?
Whenever you can change the scoreboard, both with special teams and defense, the propensity to win goes sky high. So right now, the book says Bowling Green should win this football game. Now, you know, we've been around a long time. Anything can happen the rest of this game. But right now, Bowling Green defensively and with special teams are dominating the game. Not to say that USA hasn't played good defense, because they have. But right now, the scoreboard is the problem.
Well, the missed extra point might matter because there's still a touchdown and a 2-point try away from tying it.
True.
As opposed to being up 2 scores. Headed to the end zone. They won't bring this one out. So again, the drive for South Alabama to start from its own 25. And let's see if Jake settles himself a little bit more in this series with his team trailing in the game 8-0.
And to be fair to Jake, we saw number 5 drop some passes, right? The best player on the field we talked about.
Good point.
Right? Jalen Tolbert has dropped some passes. He needs to get right. But if you are Major Applewhite, just stay with the game plan. You're going to feature number 5, keep going back to him. He'll be fine. Get him warmed up with a bubble screen or something very easy just to get in his hands and get him going, get him lathered up. You'll get both guys warmed up to get in this game, because right now they're not in the game.
Majors, the offensive coordinator, if the name sounds familiar. Longtime star, University of Texas. Also head coach. Very modest about his Texas days when we were quizzing him about that earlier today. Says when he talks to Bentley about quarterbacking that he really doesn't want to focus on what he brought from Texas. He just wants to develop his quarterback.
And you know me, I want to talk about my accomplishments, but I'm like, wait a minute, Coach, you don't want to talk about it, but I like it.
Because you have all week for that.
Right. You know, but Applewhite's like, you know, listen, that's old news. He wants to talk about developing his players and serving his players, and really it was a beautiful thing to listen to, because if you're a player, you want a coach that's unselfish.
The other Terrion Avery, now the ball carrier for South Alabama, has got a first down as he moves the football after a second effort to the 37. That's a pickup of 6 on the play.
And what you see from Major Applewhite, you're not abandoning the run, and I love it, because that's going to pay dividends. Running the football early is like body punches, you know, right? It gets to the legs of the defense, but what it also does, it forces them to really honor the play pass, and number 5 can get behind the secondary. I know he hasn't done it yet, but he's a big play waiting to happen.
I want to follow that point here in a moment after the next snap. Bentley over the middle. Incomplete. Dawson Odoms is the new coach at Norfolk State. Coached at Southern. Had him last week against Toledo. He said, you know, with all the pass-happy teams, and that brings a lot of excitement to the game, if you really want to hurt my feelings, if I'm coaching on defense, run the ball against me.
Yeah, because it's challenging the men up front. And you're saying, can you beat that block and be physical at the line of scrimmage? And guess what? With the way the rules are now, not a lot of hitting in practice, I think teams that are physical at the line of scrimmage and run the football, they actually have the advantage against most of these pass-happy teams, because they don't get to practice against.
Got an empty backfield here on second down. Safe pass out to the flat. Solid pickup to the 42. That's a pickup of 5. The 3rd and 5. Well, you mentioned the drives by Tolbert. There have been 2 in this game so far, so that's a statistic certainly worth bringing up, because we didn't expect that. Neither did he.
We didn't. And, you know, this is the mental game of football. You've got to clear that. You've got to forget about that. You've got to have the moxie and the confidence and say, you know what, I'm still the best player on the field. The next time they call my number, I'm going to make the play.
Once again, empty backfield for Bentley on 3rd down. Needs to get the football to the 47 of South Alabama.
Ball should come out quick.
Bowling Green bringing a blitz. Bentley to avoid. Now throwing. He's got a man wide open. He committed at the last moment, and as a result, catch all the way down to the 34, and it's Cade Sutherland with the catch.
Great job right there. That's all Bentley. I mean, he did an excellent job of avoiding the pressure, kept his wits about him, started to run, tucked it, pulled it out, and watch him pull it out and throw an accurate ball downfield. That's terrific moxie by your quarterback right there. Now Bentley's starting to get warmed up. Let's see if that gets him going now.
Catch, that was Lincoln Selleck with a catch. And now the football in short field position for South Alabama, which has 11 of its 22 as new starters. That in itself is a challenge, but Kate Womack, the head coach, was chatting with us earlier in the week and saying, well, you know, with the transfer portal, it's like free agency. You can get healthy in a hurry.
That's right. And we talked on the field to coach, and again, you got to get good people, though. You know, football, with all the talent and the stats and this and that, it's still a people game. And you got to have guys with high football character that want to work and be unselfish. So getting talent is not the answer. You got to get talent with character. That's how you win football games consistently.
Well said. Deep into the first quarter we go on 2nd and 10 with USA on the move. Trailing by 1 score and a 2-point conversion. A lot of his passes, Bentley, so far have either been wide right or just over the head of an intended receiver, as we have a flag on the field. Any reason for that?
Well, on that particular play, you know, he's had some pressure in his face. As it turns out, it was illegal pressure, right? Because he got
roughing the passer.
Yes, right. So
it's like the linebacker Dago Neary was the guilty party, or may have been 33. Jordan Porter. Either way, it's 15 yards, and the football now inside the 20.
And I'm telling you right now, Eric Lewis, the defensive coordinator, is dying right now. Because that's the only thing that can beat you right now. The penalties, you got this game under control, and now look where you are, 1st and 10.
A little razzle-dazzle to Lacey on a jet sweep. Able to carry it to 16. You mentioned Eric Lewis. His famous father is Sherman Lewis, who spent a number of years in the National Football League. Dad is in attendance, by the way, today. He's approaching his 80th birthday, and we said, does Dad chat with you on occasion? He gives me a day or two after a game, and then we assemble for some thoughts on what went well and what didn't.
How about that as a resource?
Oh,
right? I mean, you talk about an encyclopedia of football. I asked him, is he going to be in a booth today, or up in the beautiful seats? He said, no, he's going to be in the stands just like everybody else. We're defensive people.
You weren't happy with that either.
No, I wasn't.
Second effort there is going to bring it very close to the chains, and good enough for a South Alabama first down as 25 Terrion Avery carries the ball, and so USA, unless the spot is going to be just short.
Well, I like the effort. Watch 25 running through arm tackle. Okay?
And now they move the chains.
They do. We talked about Avery. Now, he's one of the bigger, more physical guys. 200 pounds, but runs bigger than that, actually. One of the few juniors that are out there in the skill position.
Brings up a 1st and goal. And a safe pass out to the flat to Jamal Hickenbottom. Rather, Kate Sutherland, excuse me.
Yeah, and we talked about the bubble screens and the smoke screens. And you need blocking on the perimeter to get that to go. Right there, the defense defeats the perimeter blocking, makes the play on the sidelines.
2nd and goal. 30 seconds left, first quarter. Can South Alabama dent the scoreboard? Again from the gun, a running play, and not much there for Terrion Avery. We're likely going to go to the second quarter, and a decision to make. If they score a touchdown, do you go for the 2 early, which is called chasing points?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about a card. They've got a card on the sidelines that tell them what to do, the chart. The chart will probably say go for it. I think you should. But right now, I got to talk about Davy Young-Ferguson's tackle on that play right there. What a beautiful tackle supporting from your corner position.
At the end of one, most unusual score, but a most unusual first quarter. Falcons from the MAC 8, and the Jaguars from Sunbelt, nothing. Most of the action for the Sunbelt will be tonight under the lights, and probably some very hot venues as the country starts to steam up a little bit. Last night, Kansas and Coastal Carolina. Kansas had the early lead, and Coastal Carolina belted them by 27. App State of Miami, that's the game that everybody's curious because that's the same program that upset Michigan many years ago in the Big House.
It has that smell to it. I mean, I'm not calling it, but it has that feel. It could be another one of those deals.
10-point underdogs, if that matters. They'll go with the ground game on 3rd and 8. So they make up half of that. Now you got a decision to make on 4th and goal inside the 5. You're the head coach now. What are you going to do?
Well, that play call tells me that was 2-down territory, right? Okay, so they wanted half, like you said. Now you've got to find the way to get number 5 the football. And they just told me, you don't know what you're talking about. They're going to kick the field goal.
I would have agreed with you. So they're going to settle for 3, and it should be like an extra point from basically the 12-yard line, 22 yards in distance.
Interesting call, though. I got to feel that was a gut decision to kick that field goal, because to me that was a play where you're thinking 2 downs. I think Major Applewhite was thinking 2-down territory right there.
Dego Guajardo with the kick. He's a left-footed kicker, and he buries it from 22 out. So they'll take the points in this instance, and that makes it 8-3.
Well, listen, if you like special teams, this is your game.
So we've had a safety, a field goal, a pick 6, and a missed extra point. Stay with us, folks. It's about to get even more interesting. A very conversational Scott Loeffler, head coach of Bowling Green, year number 3. His team has an 8-3 jump in this game. In a game that featured under 70 total yards on both sides in the first quarter.
That's, listen, defense.
71 players were relatively new a couple of years ago, and you think about the development of this program, that really it does take 5 years. I know coaches say we want as long as they can get, but 71 combined student athletes in the classes of 2020 and 2021, which means they're all babies.
That's crazy. I mean, that's 67% of your roster was in high school just over a year and a half ago, right? And that's what he's working with right now. But listen, that's about player development. They have talent. They just don't have the experience. So he thinks he's ahead of schedule, though. He felt it was going to be a 5-year project. He think right now they're in line to get much better this year and really take off next year.
Sure. Kick with the wind into the end zone. So this series will start as the NCAA rules allow from the 25-yard line. Yeah, you think when you talk about high school players making the adjustment, it's often been said that the toughest game a high school player was a part of in high school is not as tough as a practice.
No. I remember my first scrimmage at Penn State. I thought I wasn't going to be good enough to play big-time college football. It was so physical. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm like, come on, man.
They fake the jet sweep as one of their popular plays, and they throw it out of the flat in a pickup of 7 yards. Let's talk about the center, and there's going to be a late hit on this thing as well.
Yeah,
Austin Osborne made the catch. That's always the question after late hit, is there targeting?
That's right. That's right.
Not suggesting there is, but that's always something that the officials look for.
Bench number 1. The targeting aspect of the play is under review.
Yeah, and in fact, there is a targeting call here. So USA, which lost a player last week, now may be in position to lose one again.
Yeah, that's Davin Flanard, and let's see if his head is leading this thing. Forcible contact with the crown of the helmet.
Obviously not there. Now here it comes.
You know,
did he launch?
No, he tried to get his shoulder in. The problem I have for your defensive player is that the offensive player lowers his helmet. Watch number 1 come in. He is not trying to make head contact. But the offensive player, number 88, Christian Sims, lowered his helmet. So I'm saying as a defender, what do you want me to do, ref? I'm coming in. I got to play defense. That's my job. If the offensive player lowers his helmet into my shoulder, that's not my fault.
I've talked to replay officials about that very thing. They do look for that, but oftentimes in a play where the offensive player is left unprotected, targeting is going to be called.
After video review, there is no foul for targeting. Second down.
All right, your point has been vindicated here.
Well, listen,
no
I was getting fired up, Jim. I mean, if they throw that young man out for that hit.
Well, don't push me, man.
Okay, all right.
Advantage you.
I get flashbacks sometimes. Come on. But yeah, I think that's the right call, really. I mean, this is still football. You're going to have contact. It just, the intent was not there, and they think they need to start legislating this call with more about the intent.
Flanard had that pick 6 last week in the win over Southern Mississippi, so he remains alive. McDonald on the roll to the sidelines, first down. Well, the guy that's over center is a baby. I mean, a real baby, like a walk-on freshman that Zimmerly is. He's got to be the youngest in the history of this game to be a walk-on and start as a freshman.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen that before. You know, collegiate debut last week. starting at center, a walk-on true freshman. Never seen it before at the most important position on the offensive line. I mean, he's done a terrific job. They got him in a tough spot, but they got some guys around him that he relies on, including Jalen Grant, their left guard. But, boy, he's battling out there.
The fake to Patterson. Osborne over the middle. Caught it. What a nice catch by Austin Osborne. Takes him from the 37 inside USA territory. At the official spot will be at the 37 as well. Let's show you the play, and also the block by that freshman center.
That's right.
As well.
Terry Malone talked about Austin has been a pleasant surprise. He had one career catch coming into the season. We told you that. Look at him go dig that out. Now watch the big young fella up front. That's right. Get in there, do a little holding, but hold inside so they don't see it. I like it. He's learning. He's learning.
Little zone read there that doesn't gain anything. Zimmerle's got a great affection for the game, a great energy. And the young freshman said, look, this doesn't bother me that I'm the youngest. I mean, I'm just glad to be out here. And oh, by the way, your first assignment's in Tennessee before 88,000 Orange.
That's right.
Last Thursday.
SEC, over 100,000 people in the stands. But, you know, Terry Malone said we love his toughness. And he competes every single play. He said we probably put him in a bad position. He should be in the weight room getting better, at the training table getting bigger and stronger. But right now he's playing, and he's playing pretty well so far.
Think how good he might be in a couple of years. Second and 10. Four-man rush. They drop 7, and they're about to drop the quarterback. McDonald goes down back at the 46, lost the ball. Able to pick it up at the last second, but good pressure by South Alabama. 48 and 49 were both there. 48 is Johnson, and 49 is Christian Bell. And Janarius Johnson, who's 48, by the way, he was telling people that when he was very small, he was big. So everybody thought he was a bully. In fact, said I was being bullied.
Wow.
And because I was fat, I took that personally. I went to the gym with my dad at age 14, got a membership, and the rest is history.
Didn't go in the tank, right?
Nope.
He used that fire to make him better. I love it.
3rd and 18. Falcons have been in USA territory a lot this afternoon.
Donald's got to be smart with the ball here.
Again rushing 4 against 7 on the drop, and penalty flags on the pass intended for Osborne. Austin Osborne has been a very popular target, as you highlighted at the beginning.
Yeah, and I was just about to praise Darrell Luter Jr. for coming in and making a play on that ball. But let's see if he was early.
He's one of the captains today, by the way.
He is. That's a nice breakup.
Teams, pass interference, defense number 18, holding, offense, those penalties offset, replay 3rd down.
So we'll do it again, and it's a break for the Jags defense.
Yeah, and if I'm bowling green, I'm upset because he didn't give me a number on the holding call. Okay, so if you're so holding, give me a number.
Yeah.
Give us a chance to make the correction and let us know you actually saw it. And for Luter, maybe it was the backside arm, but I didn't see a pass interference right there.
A lot of times officials will talk to somebody on the sidelines away from us, and we'll get the official word.
Yeah.
3rd and a bunch. They're looking for a bunch. Incomplete. They'll bring up 4th down, and from the 44, possibility of a punt, and try to pin USA back deep into its own territory.
Great job of pressuring off the edge. Trying to get a number there. Is that Jamal Hickbottom? I'm not sure, but that was excellent pressure to create an errant throw.
Well, the Jaguars defense in 5 games has allowed just 1 touchdown.
Yeah, and they played great red zone defense. And they weren't quite in the red zone here, but they've allowed a drive, and they seem to bow up their necks as the offensive drive continues. And that's good defense to keep them out of the end zone.
Naranjo fields and punts. They're going to let the ball go. Will it be fielded? The Gunners will attack it at about the 7. Special teams, very special so far today. All 11's on the scoreboard. 11-11 remaining first half. First year as head coach of South Alabama, Kane Womack, who was part of the staff at Mississippi in 2012 and featured Tom Allen, who went on to be a head coach with Indiana. In fact, there were 4 potential head coaches along with the actual head coach Hugh Freeze on that team. So we asked Womack during the week, he said, did you all guys have eyes of stardom. And he said, we thought we'd be special. We really thought this was a good group.
When you get that many great minds together, you better be. And so what happens is all those influences from all those minds, he brings with him to every job he goes to afterwards. And so far, South Alabama is the beneficiary.
No snap, and that's not going to result in much of a gain. In fact, a loss of maybe a yard or two on the play. South Alabama's been unable to get a running game going so far here, and now we're pinned 95 yards away from the goal.
And that was their Achilles heel last week. You know, they were able to win the game with big plays to Tolbert, and that hasn't happened so far. But I like the fact that they continue to run it. I mean, they ran it 32 times for 34 yards last week. Not very good, but he kept calling it, and that allows you then to work the play action.
Well, Major Applewhite told us, and so did the head coach, Kane Womack, a lot of reasons for just a yard gain per play last week, and one of them had to do with the fact that the running backs were hitting the hole with indecisiveness. They were tentative, and of course that affects the line, blocking for you as well.
That's right. The offensive line gave up a lot of penetration in the run game as well, and so Bowling Green thought they had an advantage up front, that they can get after this offensive line, and so far they're doing it in the run game.
Jake Bentley threw a pick 6 on a play like this earlier in the game. Now he's in his own end zone. He'll go to safety route. Not going to be enough for a first down, though. In fact, they're about half short of the distance they need, and now a punt. USA coming up back in its own end zone as Tolbert makes his 3rd catch of the game.
Yeah, Davon Ferguson again is showing up. Number 5 is going to catch his balls. The key is to keep him in front of him and rally up and play good team sound defense, and that's exactly what happened. The team in Brown rallied up with multiple guys and got him before he gets to the first.
Jack Brooks, the punter, one of the captains for today's game, punting from about his own 5. Got to go off a good punt. With the win, back to the 40. Sometimes on a miss, you can do something special.
Yeah.
This run back may be called back, however. There was a penalty flag that went up on the play, so we're about to find out if the thing holds on the return by Davon Ferguson. Not likely.
So often when you get muff punch like you talked about, it becomes candy to the coverage team and they get out of their lanes.
Yes.
They lose lane integrity, and if you can make 1 or 2 guys miss, you got some potential to score. And the problem is probably going to be a holding or some sort of offensive or return penalty on that play.
Man in the white hat is Wayne Winkler from the Sun Belt Conference. Chatting right now with Brandon Ellison, the umpire.
In relation to Henry Winkler?
We should check.
Defon. Hey.
2 fouls by the receiving team, number 32. Holding. That penalty is declined. Personal foul. Illegal blindside block. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So a blindside block will be assessed against Bowling Green and will step away. Almost 6 minutes into the second quarter. It still remains 8-3 in favor of Bowling Green. As quarterbacks coach Scott Loeffler, the head coach of Bowling Green, has coached the best, starting with the man at the top, Tom Brady, with all the Super Bowl championships, and the rest of that group, along with Brady, obviously with careers in the National Football League.
If you want to be an NFL quarterback, maybe you want to stick real close to Scott Loeffler because, boy, being around him gets you to the league, huh?
Still communicates with Tom Brady, still very good friends with him. In fact, they usually chat a couple of days.
Is he a player?
Prior to kick.
That guy?
Brady?
Yeah.
He's got a chance in the league.
Decent?
Yeah.
I mean, he was only, what, a 6th-round pick, though, right?
I know. Should have been at least a 3rd round, don't you think? Or higher, maybe a 1st round?
Well, the way he took a Super Bowl from me personally, I like to talk about myself. I'm still mad about what happened in that Superdome in New Orleans. Brady drives him down against our Rams to win his first Super Bowl, but he's with Tampa Bay now, and I'm his biggest fan, right? One of my old teams.
Had a great opening night game. National Football League with the Dallas Cowboys and Prescott with his recovery from injury performance.
Old-fashioned quarterback duel right there. How amazing is Brady at his age?
Oh, incredible. Falcons on offense, trying to establish a run game, which neither team has been able to do so far. They may have had 1 or 2 gains of 7 yards or better as we've moved down to the 9-minute mark of the first half.
Jaguars defensive coordinator Corey Batoon talked about that fly sweep motion. It was going to be a big part of what Bowling Green likes to do, and so they prepared well. You saw no false steps out of that defense. They went and attacked the dive. They left the fly sweep alone. They're well schooled on that right there. Here's it again.
Ran against the Volunteers of Tennessee and had some success. On that play, though, McDonald fools nobody and still recovers and able to slide up to the 30-yard line. And because he got hit after the slide, there'll be a penalty coming up. Now, let's talk a little bit about the rule and the fact that penalties are assessed when the quarterback gets tagged, even though it's hard for a defensive guy to stop.
Jim, I'm so glad it wasn't like this.
Personal foul, defense number 13 for a late hit, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's all part of protecting the quarterback, and that's on C.J. Thompson, the safety.
I'm so glad that this changed in the game after I got out. I mean, it's just too hard to play defense. He's a runner now. All right, he's no longer protected in the pocket. And if you're going to take a late slide after I begin the process of the tackle, again, that's not my fault.
Well, aren't you a little surprised it is a penalty if he did become a runner?
Yes.
Because I think that the rule by nature is if the guy converts from thrower to runner,
he's unprotected.
Open game.
Yes. That's what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And I guarantee you, if that was any other player on the field but the quarterback, there's no flag.
From the 44-yard line, now Falcons are the first down, and McDonald again running for his life. Should put a disclaimer, though, you're very biased when we talk about defense here.
Yeah.
Chris Anderson with the tackle.
How about that angle and rundown by number 7? Look like Jadeveon Clowney. Easy for me to say. Jadeveon Clowney. That's what it looked like to me. Watch the pursuit and the effort from number 7. Down the line, great angle, and look at the speed. Lay out, young man. Go make the play. Don't be afraid to make a play. Great job of getting him on the ground.
By the way, Henderson, one of those 6-year players we talked about that South Alabama was able to pick up in the free agency of college football. I like to refer to it as free agency. I think it's got a good ring to it.
I see that.
I think that's accurate, too.
Yeah,
really.
it is. It really is. Nice play by Jamal Brooks. I think what we're seeing now, defense has settled down, too. That was a terrific job by Jamal Brooks of diagnosing, and he's a transfer guy from Mizzou. Diagnosing that play, grad transfer, 6'1", 235 pounds. Excellent job of breaking down and making a play.
A.J. DeShazer in the game today. He was hit with targeting last week and missed the second half.
Yeah.
But he's been alive and well so far today. Flanor had a targeting call on him that was wiped away by replay. 3rd and 7. USA showing blitz. 4 on the line, though. Let's see what they bring. And before anything happens, Bowling Green calls a timeout.
Before the play clock expired, timeout, Bowling Green, their first.
3 timeouts each half, no 2-minute warning like the NFL, just in case you get confused with the games that are coming up tomorrow. 6:53 first half, still 8-3 game defensive battle. Well, as we told you at the beginning accurately, this would be a defensive war. No, we didn't say that.
No, we didn't. I said the scoreboard operator was going to earn their money. They're taking snoozes right now. Are you kidding me? They making free money. This is ridiculous. But listen, I love defense, though. Well, I'm enjoying it.
The odds of this winding up 45-44 would require several overtimes, at least at this pace.
Got him.
Wide open receiver. Good pitch by McDonald. First down inside the 30. Jamal Johnson, number 20, with a catch. Big play. He carries it all the way down to the 27-yard line. He had plenty of time to throw it.
Yeah, just a basic wheel route. No one's home. And this was a guy that was featured in the pass game last week. They got 2 really good young backs who can exploit man coverage, but right there was no coverage.
Falcons used the wheel route against Tennessee for a solid gain in that 38-6 loss previous Thursday. Now they go to the opposite side. And a swarm D right now, or the D swarm of Conference USA's, or the Sunbelt's USA, making a tackle and just a short gain on the play, maybe a couple.
I like this Chris Simmons. I mean, that was a short gain right there, but he's an athletic tight end that you can get in space and create mismatches with the defense.
Terry Malone was telling us we didn't have all our weapons last week because of COVID.
Yeah.
So we had 2 of our principal offensive guys, as Bowling Green set to use another timeout. So the 2 guys are back, and well, there's not much to show offensively. They're on the move again with a chance to add to 8-3 lead.
Yeah, as you see Broden on your screen, 86, he's back from COVID, and they like him. He's a true X-receiver type guy, 6'4", just a shade over 200 pounds. He can go up and get it, and Christian Sims, he's been featured. I like guys that's all the rage in college and pro football. A guy who can play the wide, play in the box, but then you can displace him from the formation and create mismatches, because with his size, 6'4", 240, you put a DB on him, he's going to be too big. You put a linebacker on him, he's going to be too quick. And so he's going to become a bigger and bigger part of his offense as the season goes on.
By the way, we mentioned Broden and Sims away because of COVID. Basically, contact tracing was the reason. Symptoms were not very much to speak of, so they had to go through the regular protocol, and then once time limit was expired, they were back to play.
I've even heard of the term contact tracing before 2020. I mean, we got so many new terms.
Oh, yes.
I mean, this COVID thing has been crazy. It's been crazy, and listen, I just hope everybody can stay healthy, right? And we can overcome this thing once and for all, because we got people in the stands. This is the way college football should be played, not in empty stadiums with people in it.
Amen. 2nd and 8 with 5:55 remaining first half. South Alabama showing a blitz off the edge, now dropping back their coverage. Trying to hit the red zone, Bowling Green. They got a chance right here. This one's up in the air. And incomplete.
Yeah, that was a poor decision. Tried to hit the out and up to the receiver, but it was in zone coverage. He had two safety high, and he had a safety over the top. That's an easy pick ball. It's a good thing that ball went out of bounds. But you got to go somewhere else with the ball if you're Mac McDonald. I think that fake of the blitz fooled him in thinking he had man coverage, and he didn't. They backed out of it. Well, they're lucky to get away without a turnover.
Yeah, you saw number 6, Devin Rocket, back to defend. Last name spelled Rockette. Shotgun formation again for Matt McDonald on 3rd down. The Boston College transfer, along with his coach, moving from BC to the Mid-American Conference and BG. And another Bowling Green timeout. So they have now used all 3 timeouts within about, 90 seconds?
Yeah, and I think a lot of the pre-snap movement from South Alabama is giving them trouble. Not just offenses can show eye candy, defenses can show it too. They want to confuse the quarterback and make him think he's got one coverage and one alignment, and then switch either early or late to then counteract what he thought. And so right now, Bowling Green is struggling to keep up with what South Alabama's doing defensively.
Biggest difference in this game, Jake Bennett, who threw the first pick 6 for South Alabama since the Troy game back on October 16th of 2019. That was Andrews on the return from 27 yards out for the score for the Falcons, and that's difference in our game.
Yeah, special teams and defense.
Around the Mid-American Conference, lots of eyes on Kent State and VMI early, because they started 11 and Kent State put up 60. They had 3 rushing touchdowns early. How about Miami, Ohio? Today, they were within a point of Minnesota in Minneapolis with about 8 minutes to go. Toledo led Notre Dame in the 4th. Now Toledo trails by 8.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be something special, but unfortunately that unraveled. But I think Minnesota's got a good football team, so that was a close game.
McDonald in trouble, and he goes down back in the 40. Well, the last thing you want is a sack there, because that may take you out of field goal position, particularly against the wind. Now 4th down. The line of scrimmage was the 27, which would have made the kick about 45, and that takes away that, I would imagine.
Jim, you got to throw it away. Once you get out of the tackle box, throw the football away. All you got to do is get it to the line of scrimmage. Throw it in the stands. It doesn't matter. You can't take that sack like you said. That was just an error in judgment by an experienced quarterback who should know better.
And Matt Naranjo is on to punt again. Back to receive, potentially, is Colin Lacey. Get back to the MAC conference in a moment. Nice booming one headed toward the end zone, and that's where it'll land. MAC mixing it up with the Big Ten today in a lot of ways, and add Notre Dame to the mix with Toledo playing a very competitive game. We mentioned the Irish have forged ahead in the 4th quarter, now leading 24-16. Penn State and Ball State, they thought that one would be close, but right now Penn State's got a 24-6 advantage. Bulls have a good team at Buffalo, but they're trailing Nebraska 14-0. Temple over Akron 24-17. That's at the break. Western Michigan, Illinois State just on the way. Brock Spack, the longtime coach of Illinois State.
Wait a minute, you thought Ball State, Penn State would be close?
Some people thought that because of the fact that Penn State played such an emotional game last week. Well, don't take this personally.
I got you. What do you mean? We'll come back to that.
All right, let's move along. Penn State pretty impressive, though, up in Madison last week in a game that stopped the Badgers 3 times inside the red zone without a point.
Yeah, and they struggled last year mightily, especially out of the gate. But, you know, Coach Franklin's got a really talented football team who's very young. But, you know, he's done a great job of recruiting. I think what you're going to see now is he's going to take the next step with player development. Penn State's going to get better.
Back to the run game, still trying to establish something up front, and that's a carry. Just shy of the 30-yard line will bring us to a 3rd and 1. USA has all its timeouts left. Second half kickoff, though, belongs to Bowling Green on offense.
I like the discipline of Major Applewhite. He continues to call the run. It's going to pay dividends later in this game. And
in fact, that was a first down, but a loss on the first play of this fresh set of downs for 3 yards. So it brings up a 2nd and 13. Carl Brooks up to make the tackle for Bowling Green.
Well, you got to block them now. I mean, if you're going to run the football, you got to block the guys up front, which you're starting to see, though. I'm seeing Bowling Green bringing people, and they're stunting their line. That's very dangerous. Number 5 still out there. If you're going to play man coverage, you are rolling the dice.
5, the lone receiver on the near side in man coverage. They may bracket him as well.
Let's again.
Bennett able to avoid one, but that'll go pretty close to a sack. He might have picked up a yard on the play as Demetrius Hardiman was up to greet him, number 97.
You know, that was a zone blitz. They talked about sort of token blitzing, where it's not really a blitz. They only brought 4, but they brought him from a different position and dropped out the defensive end. And that time, Hardiman came back, assessed the quarterback scramble, made the play.
They run the 4-2-5. That's a very popular defense now, so you have 7 cover and rush 4, and that prevents these high-octane offenses from potentially doing damage, or at least they're supposed to. Bennett on 3rd down, over the middle, ball caught. Sliding catch by number 12 Sanderson or Sutherland. So Kate Sutherland makes the catch, his 2nd reception of the game, fresh set of downs.
Yeah, that was a physical catch. Watch the contact. You're going to see some contact that should have been drawing a flag, illegal contact, but watch him keep his feet. That's some contact coming across the middle. I like the concentration, went down and got it, and I like the ball placement. Put it where only his guy could catch it.
From the 42. You talked about the patience of the offensive coordinator and the head coach. And you got 3 timeouts in the bank right now. And you don't want to give Bowling Green what they call a 2-for-1, namely get the ball back at the end of the first half and then get the opening kickoff to start the second.
Right, and it feels like Bowling Green is up more than just 5 points. And the problem with that score is it allows the run game to continue to be a part of the process for the Jaguars. You're starting to see holes begin to open up more and more now.
And with that, the Jags are very comfortable about running the ball to bring up a 3rd with the spot, a 3rd and 4 as we dip under 2 minutes.
3rd and 4, that was not a big game. But what that is now, that's 3rd and medium, 3rd and very manageable. The entire playbook is open for Major Applewhite. Let's see what he dials up. And on the other side, do you bring pressure? All right, do you bring pressure, or do you let Jake Bentley sit back and carve you up? He's starting to get hot now. It's going to be very interesting to see if they bring the blitz.
Decision to be made if they wind up with 4th down and short yardage. Right now it's 3rd and 4. Nobody home. Has to release out of the backfield. Incomplete. And with $1:22 remaining in the first half, brings up 4th down.
That's great zone coverage.
Would you dare risk it here?
I would not. I would punt this ball from midfield. You can get them backed up. If you use your timeouts defensively, you might be able to get something out of it. But no, I think this game is within reach. You're fine down 5. You don't need anything silly happening. You get either a touchdown or 3 points put on you because you decide to go for it in the midfield.
Jack Brooks back to punt.
He executes this punt. There should be no return. You're punting from near midfield. You got to hit this thing high and deep, force a fair catch.
Ferguson back to catch. They went for the block. Ferguson will let it go. And it dies out of bounds. So USA, as you mentioned, still 3 timeouts left with 1:15 to go. So if you can make a 3-and-out stop, you'll get the ball back.
Yeah, and now if you're the Falcons, you got to decide, now, am I going to try to go back and throw this football, maybe and stop the clock when they complete passes and give it back to an explosive offense? Or am I content being up 5 and run the football, force them to use their timeouts, and maybe kick it back to them with just a few seconds left? We'll see how aggressive Terry Malone is.
Would like to pick up at least one first down and force South Alabama into its timeout situations as Osborne goes in motion. And the Jaguars will signal for a timeout here. Finally. It's interesting. You had about 5 to 7 seconds go off the clock. You would think that would have been dialed in immediately.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Unless there was some doubt.
Yeah, why would you let it run? And I like the call from Terry Malone, forcing to use them. But you got to be ready to call it once the tackle's made.
Second game of the season for both teams. Andrew Applewhite goes back a ways to his beginning days at Texas. One of those coordinators that's been around for a long time at a head coaching position. He and Womack have been friends for a period of time too. And that friendship has evolved now into Applewhite as the OC of South Alabama.
You talk about being around coaches. He was on the staff in Houston with Tom Herman. He had the Browse guy out there showing him how to do protections, how to play with tempo, how to use movement, pre-snap to manipulate the defense. He is from the Big 12. He's through and through. He knows how to coach offensive football.
Second down for the Falcons. Running to the opposite side of the field. Good pickup on second down. And the beauty of that carry right there by number 8, Jalen Embry, with his first carry, is the fact that it forces another timeout and puts him in position for a third and manageable when they get 3 yards, and then the first half's going to end.
Yeah, I thought Embry was about to make a mental error and go out of bounds. He did not. I'm not sure if the tackle saved him or he knew better, but had that gone out of bounds, that would have been an error by him. He did not force a timeout, like you said. Job well done.
Both sides are commemorating the anniversary of 9/11, the terrorist attack from 20 years ago on the city of New York and the Washington, D.C. and Pennsylvania areas. Both helmets on both sides of the field represent players, actually people that have passed.
Yeah.
And all victims are represented by each of the Jags players on the South Alabama side, and Bowling Green has gone into a preliminary beginning of the game formation to highlight 9/11. In fact, their decals represent on the side of their helmets as well.
And we talked to Kane Womack about it, and he asked him, was it his idea? He said no, it was our director of operations, who's also the equipment guy. It was his idea to put those on there, and I think it's a really beautiful tribute. When you think about it, 9/11 is not just a date. It's not just a phrase. No. There were real lives lost, and there are family members still grieving. And so my heart goes out to them. It's been 20 years, but I'm just telling you right now, for the families that lost people, it has been a living heck for them, I'm sure, and my heart goes out to them, like I said.
Bowling Green lost a number of its own people, its own graduates in the attack on 9/11. In fact, Scott Loeffler said he was in 8th grade. Check that, Coach Comic of Conference or the Sun Belt's USA team, Alabama, Southern Alabama. He was in 8th grade at the time when it happened, and he didn't realize the significance of it. Meanwhile, Scott Loeffler was coaching at Central Michigan, and they were preparing for Boise State. He found out about it. He said, I've never been angrier. I wanted to sign up for the military.
Yeah. He's not the only one. We had guys actually do that. You had people who had never served before join the military just because they felt that sense of loss, and it motivated them to be a part of it.
We've been watching ESPN's coverage all day. There have been great tributes all across the stadiums in this country. College football was halted for at least 1 week for most teams back then, 9/11. Some teams did play on that Saturday. Most did not.
I remember it's a bit of a false start. I remember we met in St. Louis, the Rams met as a team and said, there's no way we can play. We didn't want to play. We didn't know what the NFL was going to do, but we knew as an organization we were not going to play. That's one of those days you remember exactly where you were. It'll never leave your consciousness, and I'm just glad the NFL did the right thing. We didn't play.
South Alabama's going to get good field position inside the 50. In fact, I think at that point, even some of the teams that did play wound up regretting it. The decisions that were made, and as they look back, probably wasn't something that if they had to do it again, they would have done. But the tributes that have been actually presented prior to this game with the flag on the field, and they had scheduled a flyby or flyover, but flyovers were in strong demand in the Midwest today, so they couldn't do that. But the flag is at half-mast here at the stadium, and obviously Loeffler and Womack remember it well, as we all do. And
no shade to the teams that did play. There was no handbook on handle a situation like that. This was unprecedented, right? No one knew what to do. We just knew as an organization we mentally could not play that game.
South Alabama trying to get in field position. Sutherland with a catch. Pickup of 9, 2nd and 1.
Situational football, Jim. They practice this all the time. 2-minute drills on both sides of the ball.
Jaguars out of timeouts. Bentley over the middle. Incomplete. Stops the clock with 26 to go. They have the wind at their back. So long field goal certainly a possibility before the half ends. But Bowling Green will get the football to start the second half.
3rd and short. Again, you got a lot of options if you made your Applewhite. College football, clock stops with every first down. So the middle of the field is open, especially with 26 seconds left to play.
Got to pick up a yard, though, to keep the downs going. Under a half-minute remaining. Bennett to the sidelines. Ball caught and a lot of real estate to go with it. Lacey with a catch out of bounds, 24-yard line, and 20 seconds ago. Now you can take a crack at the end zone.
That's right. That's a nice job getting that ball out there just quick enough. If you're on defense, you got to make every tackle that's presented to you, especially at this moment in the ball game where they're going to be critical.
South Alabama from the Sun Belt Conference looking, according to Commissioner Gill, possibility of expanding from its current 10-team roster, maybe to 12, depending on what happens in the playing field of college football.
High alert in the middle of the field. It's open.
Bentley looking, is going to throw it away. Uses up 6 seconds on the clock. The reason the Sun Belt is considering expansion is the obvious, because SEC has made some moves. Big 12 has made moves on the American Conference. There's always the threat that somebody from the Sun Belt might leave, and whether that happens or not, good time to think about expansion.
It's an arms race. It's an arms race we haven't seen before, right? And so there's a lot of mistakes that are going to be made. You got to be really smart and strategic, because the decisions that are being made right now are going to affect your program for decades.
AL.com had a good story on expansion yesterday in the Alabama area. Time winding down first half, intended for Tolbert. He thought there was pass interference. Instead, it was defended well.
Nice play by Marcus Shepard. Did a really good job. A lot of times defensive backs panic in that situation. He kept his hands to himself and made a play on the ball. Now, every time, you don't have to be blanket coverage and get an interception. You got to force perfect throws. He was in position trying to force a perfect throw. It didn't happen. Ball's on the ground. Nice job.
Going to attempt a field goal here. This from 42 yards out to narrow the margin to 2.
I thought a field goal like this is a big play in the ball game.
Yeah. Kick is good.
Yeah. Kickers, special teams, defense.
Yeah, Dago Guajardo has 2 field goals in this game now. It is 8-6 with 6 seconds remaining.
Well, the scoreboard operator had to wake up from their nap, had to put 3 more points on the board. I like it.
Shootout in a second. Right.
Shoot, maybe they're shooting BBs. Right. This is a hockey score, right?
Yeah. Especially when the All-Stars get together.
That's right. No defense being played. Open ice.
Notre Dame leading Toledo now 24-22 as the Rockets apparently went for 2 after a touchdown, but failed with 2 minutes and change remaining in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
The Irish having another one down to the finish again, like the game with Florida State.
I like the decision, though. You got a chance to knock off Notre Dame. Go for 2.
Wow.
I mean, you kidding me? That's a foundational win if you can pull it off against one of the storied programs in all of college football history.
And you get $1 million check to go with it. That's the payout
That helps.
for the Rockets.
That helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That helps with the recruiting. That helps with the facilities.
We'll talk about future schedules in the second half as both of these teams play high majors, Power 5 teams, and that's usually a 7-figure payday. In fact, it includes both of these schools going to L.A. next year to play UCLA.
You don't think I didn't get about that Penn State crack early. We're going to talk about that. You're not out of the woods yet.
I already forgot about it.
Just saying.
Maybe Ball State or Raleigh.
Oh, stop.
Cardinals defending MAC champions, by the way, beat Western Illinois to start the season. No offensive touchdowns in this game. We've had a couple of field goals, a missed extra point, a 2-point safety, and the pick 6 by Darren Andrews from 27 yards out on the Bentley throw.
Worst play in football, kneel down. I hate it, especially because I'm usually on defense watching it. Somebody else is doing it. Am I making it about me?
That means you're behind.
Yeah.
We're behind much at Penn State. I checked your record.
No. That's something nice. Don't try to butter me up now.
Scott Loeffler's team has a 2-point lead at the break. Trying to start this season at home off on the right edge, and when leading at halftime in just 3 games so far this year, he's won them all. Or over the last 3 years, he's won all 3 of them. So the difference in this game, Darren Andrews on defense against Jake Bentley, playing in the middle of the field with a pick and on the way to the end zone. At the break, Falcons by 2, 8-6. Kane Wommack's team ready to go to war here in the second half. South Alabama on the road from Mobile will be home next Saturday night against Alcorn State, then facing the Raging Cajuns on October 2nd. Bowling Green, meanwhile, we mentioned in the schedule with Murray State next week. One correction, Akron actually opened the season with Auburn battling Temple today and trailing 30-17 third quarter. Talk halftime adjustments. Who has to adjust the most?
Well, I mean, I think they both do because this is a tight ball game. I think for USA, you got to find a way to get the ball to Jalen Tolbert. Okay, you got to get it in his hands, whether that's on a sweep, a running play, screen, isolate him. You got to find a way. He's your best player. He's got a few catches, a few drops too, but you got to give him the ball in space. And if you're Bowling Green, you got to stay aggressive offensively. I mean, this is a 2-point game, right? There's nothing here. I like to see him push the ball downfield. I don't know if they've actually challenged this Jaguar defense deep, and the Bowling Green defense. Look, they played great in the first half, right? And if I'm, Eric Lewis, I'm saying, hey, this is a 0-0 ball game. We won the first half. We got to go out and win the second half, defend our turf to close this thing out. But right now, this is really anybody's ball game.
28 is deep. That's Jason Patterson and number 7, Devon Ferguson.
There's no doubt in my mind that Scott Loeffler, or excuse me, Kane Wommack is telling his team, don't shoot yourself in the foot. We can beat ourselves and go home, or we can stop beating ourselves and get a win.
Ferguson wisely lets it go, and we'll start from the 25 for the Falcons here in the second half. Bowling Green with all those new players from 2 years ago, including a starting center that's basically still a teenager, trying to make a move against the Sun Belt today, one of the better teams in the league in South Alabama, which opened up strong against Southern Miss.
Playing a lot of freshmen. You take your lumps when you do that, but guess what? That pays dividends down the road. There'll be sophomores and juniors with experience. They haven't even gone through an off-season workout routine yet, right? Their bodies are going to change so much. This is an investment in the future when you play freshmen like this.
Matt McDonald to keep the football. Didn't see anybody open, and he slides for maybe a yard. By the way, we mentioned Kane Wommack, the head coach of South Alabama. His mind is on this game, but he'll pay attention to Texas and Arkansas later tonight because he was a running back for Arkansas, and Major Applewhite was a quarterback for Texas.
There'll be some bragging rights. Hopefully there'll be bragging rights after a win. It's always a little better when you when it happens that way, but there'll be some bragging rights on the line when they get home.
And 2nd and 9, another zone read. This one close to the first down marker, up at the 38. As Stewart carries the football, picks up 7. Bowling Green had no running game in the first half. It would behoove the Falcons to do a little bit more of this here in the second half.
And you got a big hole opened up. That's a nice job getting to the second level and getting a pancake there. I didn't see the number, but great execution up front. If Bowling Green can find a way to be efficient in that run game, boy, how much easier will it be, for Terry Malone to be able to call offensive plays when you got a run game going?
Absolutely. Keith Gallman made the tackle, 0. They'll operate in a standard eye here on 3rd down and throw the football. And got a man wide open.
Wow.
A well-designed play. Everybody stacked to the line of scrimmage. In 88, Christian Sims back from COVID. Huge play.
Welcome back. I love the play call. When you start to be able to run the football, the play action shows up. That was just a fake of the power play, and you get an athlete at the Y running down the field. Look at the fake play action. Look, the linebackers got to honor it, okay? They just ran the ball for positive yards to play before. You got to honor that, and you got an athlete running down, tough tackle. Really, the sideline made that tackle on Sims.
That was good for 56 yards. Again, no Simmons last week, no Broden either. No Sims or Broden against Tennessee, which means you've not only got one arm behind your back, you probably have 2.
That's right.
Tennessee had quite a shootout today with Pitt in a game in Rocky Top.
Very impressed with this Sims guy. I mean, he's an athlete. Love his size. He's got soft hands. He can run. You just saw his speed on display. He's outweighing those DBs by at least 40, 45 pounds, but he was picking them up and putting them down.
And right now, easily in Needham field goal territory, although 6 would be a whole lot better. Tackle made on the catch by Austin Osborne. Hangs on to the football. Sure-handed receiver with a catch to the 12. Brings up a 3rd down. And while it's not manageable, they're still center of the field and still in good position, at least walk away with points if they don't make a mistake here.
What I like right now, we talked about in the adjustments, Bowling Green needs to stay aggressive offensively. I like how they're pushing the ball downfield through the air, right? You did a great job in the first half. You've got the lead, but the lead is too small. You got to play like this is a 0-0 ball game.
3 receivers, including Osborne and Ty Broden, to the far side of the field. Need to get to the 7. McDonald with time. Penalty flag on the play. Running for the first down. It's got the first down. Slides inside the 5-yard line, but will it hold up?
Yeah, I think it's coming back. The back judge threw that flag. That's generally holding. I think it's coming back.
So instead of a first down run, it sets up a 3rd and long now. Saw earlier in the first half where quarterback McDonald took a sack and took him out of field goal territory. Now the penalty is going to move the football back to the 23-yard line, 22-yard line, which right now makes it a 40-yard kick if they fail to move on 3rd down.
That's right. It would be a costly penalty if that happens, but that's the Mac McDonald I saw on film. A guy who can manipulate the pocket and take off if he needs to. He looked very comfortable on that play. Unfortunately, it was just a holding call.
It is 3rd and 16. Matt with a look to the sidelines and now to his freshman center. Broken up and nearly picked off at the goal line. Their defenders today have been terrific, and that's Trey Young from Homeside, Mobile, Alabama. And Trey, by the way, went to school in the area of Tolden Catholic High School, McGill Tolden.
That should be an interception. Trey's got to catch that ball. That's your play right there. That's a great job of reading the eyes of the quarterback. He never saw you. That's your, but you got to act like your offensive players as a DB like that. That's your ball. Go make that play. Your team needs it. Boy, he's going to be sick about that.
Here's Nate Needham from 40 yards out. Certainly has the leg for it. Kick is good. Well, in a game of field goals and safeties and pick sixes, another 3 on the board.
Yeah.
11-6 Bowling Green early, 3rd quarter. Fun at the old ballpark today, huh? Good job, guys. Ioka Jackson, Jim Barber with you on ESPN today. All right, fellas, turn around. Pay attention here. This game's about to get interesting.
Rock, paper, scissors now. Yeah. I mean, that's big, bro. Come on, let them have that fun.
Is this the semifinals here or something? Continue to focus on it.
Right.
I love it. Love to see people back in the stands. You made that reference earlier in the game. Despite COVID concerns of the variant, people are making it back to the old yard.
Feels good. Feels right.
Not huge numbers, certainly, but
no.
You're getting there. Yep. South Alabama with 2 field goals today. And Lacey once again deep. This with the wind. Let's see if Lacey brings it out. He does not. Fair catch in the end zone, ball to the 25. Jalen Tolbert, who the NFL scouts have been keeping their eye on, number 5, wearing that special number today in a tribute to a fallen teammate from years back, has been targeted 8 times today, 3 catches, has a couple of drops for 34 yards.
Yeah, that's just not enough. I mean, the 2 drops were bad, there's no question, but I need more targets. I got to get the ball in his hand. Again, I wouldn't be afraid to run reverses. The smoke screens are just like running plays. I have no question in my mind that Major Applewhite spent the majority of the halftime trying to figure out how to get 5 more involved.
No, he said he wants 5 to get a lot of touches in the game. Here's a chance right here. Ball caught, 38-yard line, make it 39, first down, so good start.
And let me say this, though. Let's give some credit to Bowling Green. They found a way to take him out of the ball game, right? And so now the other dudes have to step up. But there are ways, if you're going to play off coverage like they're playing right now, to get him the ball easily, and there it is.
That was Wayne on the catch originally. Now Tolbert breaks a tackle. Down the sidelines he goes. There's the big play they've been hoping for, but there is a penalty flag way back at the line of scrimmage, so hold everything.
Major Applewhite may not have any hair left because he's pulling it out. I'm just telling you right there. He's got 2 hands full of hair, and he's pulling it really hard.
This is huge.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 93.
Lay on stand, plus the personal foul of roughing the quarterback. That'll add 15 more on. How about this? The football is going to be placed at about the, the official spot's going to be inside the 10.
I don't know if Stiles Hall has put a feed directly into Major Applewhite, but we talked about getting the ball against off coverage. And this is what happens when you get him in space. You're not going to tackle him. He's too gifted. Look at the speed, the strength to break the tackle. Right there, that was the sideline. Sammy Sideline has never missed a tackle. The sideline helped make that tackle, but they got to play off coverage. Make the game easy, Major Applewhite. Just give him the ball in space and let him do it for you.
And with that, first and goal for the 9 and a chance for USA to take its lead, the first of the game. Can do a lot of things inside the red zone and inside the 10-yard line here, and they're going to go quick.
And you see they're in the spread formation, and you say, well, why are you inside the 5 or inside the 10 in the spread formation? It creates natural running lanes. The defense has to spread out to cover the guys, and then you can run the ball effectively. This is a 3-man line inside the 10-yard line. In my heyday, unheard of. Against the spread, you got to do it.
Bentley to keep the football. And he's close, within a yard of a go-ahead touchdown. It'll be 3rd and goal.
So you show him that formation, and then you let the quarterback keep the ball, and there's going to be one less guy in the box to account for him. Instead of the running back being a courier, now he's a blocker and a decoy. Now you got the quarterback running with a lead. That's almost basically an ISO play with your quarterback against a displaced box defense. It's hard to defend.
You also have an injured Falcon, and so timeout has been called. We'll check on the injured player and set you up for 3rd and goal in a big moment in the game. Injured player Lincoln Sefcik out on his own power. Okay. For South Alabama on the sidelines. 3rd and goal. What do you like here?
I want to get the ball to number 5. You got man coverage on the outside. I'd pull that ball out and go quick slant.
Again, a low snap, but into the end zone. The go-ahead touchdown for South Alabama.
And that's why I'm not an offensive coordinator.
Kareem Walker puts him ahead for the first time today and our first hold the presses. Offensive score of the game by way of a touchdown.
Well, the scoreboard operator is working again. Good for them. But, boy, all of that great play by BG, but they couldn't really capitalize on all the opportunities to score a bunch of points. They kept the game close, and lo and behold, as bad as they played, with all the mistakes, the Jaguars are in front on the road.
And South Alabama has elected to go for 2 here to try to make it a 3-point game. Ball spotted at the 3-yard line of Bowling Green. Quarterback Jake Bennett on the rollout, looking for 2 and throwing for 2. Has a receiver. 14-11 South Alabama with 8 consecutive points. Or is it? South Alabama signaled a catch. Hold everything.
Yeah,
maybe not.
I didn't see a signal.
Incomplete.
Try is no good.
Take the 2 off the board. It remains 12-11.
Well, he threw that into a crowd. There were a lot of hands and jerseys of the other color in there.
There was some celebrating, but you're right. The officials have the final word on it and had not indicated a score. So it remains 12-11. And let's take a look what Bennett was looking at, throwing in a crowd.
Throws it late back across his body, but that ball should have been caught.
Well, here's the other thing. That should be under review, too, to see if he had possession long enough. That's speaking of Lacey, the receiver.
That's right.
Because the original indication was he did, and then the ball may have hit the ground. Let's take another look.
And as soon as you establish possession in the end zone, the play's over.
So is it 1001, 1002, 1003? Well, this could go either way.
It really could. That's close. Again, this is not like a regular play in the field of play.
And it's being reviewed. Every scoring play is reviewed, or in this case, non-scoring play. Can you see the ball come out at any point?
Yeah, boy, it's a fight for it, and they go down to the ground, basically jostling with the football.
Okay. So the ball definitely touches the ground. The question is, did Lacey still have his mitts on it or not?
This is going to be a judgment call. Did he have possession? You see 2 hands on the ball. You see 2 feet in the end zone. The ball's across obviously the goal line. The question is, in the official's judgment, did he have it long enough to call the possession? And here's the #1 key. The call on the field is incomplete. So in order to reverse it, the official has to believe that there is conclusive evidence that the call on the field was wrong. I'm not sure you got that.
Conclusive is the key word here, isn't it?
That's right. I mean, it has to be conclusive evidence that the call on the field was wrong. So the call on the field, the initial call, is always the key to these replays because that's going to determine the ultimate outcome.
John Allman is the replay official up in the booth. Wayne Winkler is our referee who will announce to the crowd whether the play stands, incompleted pass, or is overturned for 2 points.
So if you're looking at this and saying he might have had it or he probably had it, well, that's not good enough. It's going to be incomplete.
After video
it has
review,
to be
the ruling
absolute.
on the field stands, incomplete pass.
Yeah, and you notice the words he used, Jim. It was the ruling on the field stands. He didn't say confirmed because you can't tell from that replay one way or the other. And then when that's the case, you got to go with the call on the field. It was incomplete, play ball.
So how big is this? Because it remains a 1-point game, which means a field goal. And this has been a game of field goals prior to the last touchdown. Could put Bowling Green back in favor.
Well, we don't know what's coming, but right now, if somehow this scoreboard stays this way, when we have 0-0 on the clock in the 4th quarter, that play call will be talked about and second-guessed all week.
So do you think they're chasing points at that point, going for 2?
I think they're just being super aggressive. Yeah, I think that they believe that any lead in a game like this, you're in the driver's seat because it's going to be tight all ball game. They just wanted to get the lead and play from front, even if it's a 1-point game. Not saying I agree with it, but I think that's what happened.
Ferguson deep will bring it out from inside the 5 and tackle before he could even get to the 20.
You know, some people would say, hey, your defense is playing well, so let's go for 2. Let's be aggressive.
Check that. That's Terrion Stewart with a return.
And the other people would say, well, you got a great defense. Kick the extra point, tie it up, and let your defense keep it close so you can win the game. So, hey, listen, there are all kinds of ways to look at this thing. Ultimately, second-guessing, I mean, that's everybody's prerogative.
After the Jones return, 1st and 10 for Bowling Green football at its own 17. Now trailing the game for the first time, 12-11. Matt McDonald shooting one down the field. Got a man. Caught. 35-yard line. Wow. Big number 86 on the catch. That's Tyrone Broden.
That's the guy.
47 yards.
That's right.
Wow.
That's the guy they wanted back. This is the guy they said that he's different than everybody else in the roster. He can take the top of the defense. He's a long strider. He's got great size. And boy, did he look good running down the field right there. Man coverage, great job of laying it out there so he can run under it.
So Tyrone Broden in this game and Christian Sims both missing in the Tennessee game due to COVID illness have made their appearances today most significant as Patterson carries for a pickup of 3, 2nd and 7.
South Alabama defensive coordinator Corey Batoon was worried about Broden. He said he's got a large catch radius. He does not have to have the ball in his breadbasket to make a reception. He can go get it. But we just saw it live right there.
2nd and 7. McDonald off the snap. Will throws. Got a man that could go for 6. Touchdown. The other tight end, Andrew Bench.
That's right. Bench said, I want to join the party. I like the aggression. I like continuing to go after this thing. Terry Malone says, hey, yeah, we may be up 1, but I'm going to keep playing like it's 0-0. Great job of going on the move, being patient with the football. And we talked about it. McDonald is really sneaky accurate on the move. He's not just a pocket passer. He's got a lot of mocks. If you put him on the move, he throws very good ball.
Now they're going to go for 2. Scott Loeffler was all the way down the field, and the referee said, get back.
Right. I think
they can hear you.
This is the right call, because if you get this, you go up 7.
Send a man in motion. Empty backfield for McDonald. Rolling out. Has he got anybody open? Going to have to throw in desperation. Ball is caught. And a 2-point conversion. So they come back with a score and 2 of its own, and it's Tyrone Broden again.
What a throw. What a throw. McDonald started off cool, but he's absolutely hot now, right? He's feeling good about himself. And what I like is they're putting him on the move.
Well, Tioka Jackson, we now have your offensive explosion in full gear.
It took a long time, but right now, we've got it. As you see, Matt McDonald throwing a great ball for 6. Bowling Green's up.
Scotty Miller, Bowling Green's 3rd all-time leading receiver at 2,867 yards, is being saluted today on Bobblehead Day. Now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, catching passes from Mr. Brady. That's what the bobblehead looks like. That's a pretty good replica, I think.
Okay, Scotty Miller.
By the way, Miller caught a touchdown pass from Tom Brady NFC Championship game last year at Lambeau Field against the Packers.
Best thing that happened to Scotty Miller is becoming teammates with Tom Brady.
Oh, amen. South Alabama will start from its own 25, trailing now by 7, 19-12 in the second half. That's been off the chart offensively after both offenses were ground to a halt in the first half.
Oh, what an interesting game this is, right? I mean,
Tale of 2 halves.
Right? And momentum. You never can discount what momentum does to a team, offensively or defensively. Once things get started, guys start feeling good, and instead of dropping the ball, they're catching the ball. Instead of missing wide open people, they're throwing accurate throws.
Teams are matching each other with scores here in the second half. After the first half dominated by the defense. Jake Bennett to the sidelines, incomplete. Intended for Jalen Wayne, the wide receiver.
He missed him there.
Spanish Fort High School, homegrown Mobile, Alabama.
Comeback route, threw the ball too far outside. He was wide open. Right now, Bowling Green is playing off coverage. They don't want to get beat deep. They don't want to give up the big play. So all the underneath routes are there. You just need to throw accurate balls and move the chains.
Sending tight end Lincoln Sefcik to the opposite side, 88, a 5-receiver set. And instead, the quarterback will keep. Nobody open, pick up a 2, 3rd and long.
That's the right decision. Nobody there, pockets collapsing. Go ahead and take what you can get. No negative plays. Don't put the ball in a dangerous spot where it can get picked. You can live with 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8.
Your coordinator Defense coordinator Eric Lewis, what do you dial up on third down?
Well, I don't blitz. There's no way I'm going to leave man coverage against these receivers. I'm going to continue to try to apply pressure with 4, maybe 5, and that's it.
That's exactly what happened. In fact, they're rushing 4, almost got a sack from the edge. The pass is complete. Depending on the spot, it's close to a first down. Or could be a 4th and less than a yard.
Big decision here, and they're going to go. They're going tempo right at the line of scrimmage. As soon as this ball is spotted, they're going to try to snap this football as quickly as they can.
Well, it's going to be a first down, so they won't have to worry about
it doesn't matter.
Making a critical decision.
That was an interesting decision there, right? Look, he looked short to me. I'm just going to say that right now.
Fresh set of downs in a game that's decided by 1 score here.
Look out for number 5. This is a waist down situation, pretty decent field position. Wouldn't be shocked if they go deep.
Caught one for 56 yards on a previous drive. Walker, who has the lone rushing touchdown, in fact, the only offensive score for South Alabama on the score.
Nice play by Diego Neri. We haven't called his name a lot, but he's another freshman starting in the middle of this defense. He's a guy whose best days are ahead of him.
Now 3rd and 6.
J.B. Brown comes up and makes a nice play. He is the backup to Darren Anders.
We call Anders' name so much, but there are other people contributing like Brown.
That's right, and he's another player, a young player, sophomore, just a sophomore. He got a one-on-one tackle in space. That's not easy, but he does a great job of getting him down. 3rd and medium.
So it's Jalen Tolbert and Cade Sutherland to the opposite side of the field. The rushing yards 48-8 in this game. Need to pick up 6 to the 45. Jake Bennett with plenty of time, incomplete. He checked down, so wasn't going to get the first down anyway.
No, I mean, that might have been a big collision. I think Jalen Wayne may have heard footsteps because Mr. Darren Anders was waiting on the other side of that ball. It might have been ugly.
Jack Brooks back to punt again.
Bring down Jack Brooks with a punt for South Alabama. Davon Ferguson back for
Brooks with his 4th punt of the game, 3 in the first half. And 1 block that resulted in a safety that started the scoring in this game. Davon Ferguson back to return, potentially. This one will die at the 25. And it's a +10 with no return. 6:19 for the 3rd quarter. Still anybody's game, so please stay with us.
Oh, my. With Chase Freedom Unlimited, I earn all this cash back? Oh, I gotta tell everyone. Hey, Rita, you can earn 3% on dining, including takeout.
Bon appetit.
Hey, Kim, you earn 5% on travel purchase through Chase.
Way ahead of you.
Hey, Neil, you can earn 3% at drugstores.
Buddy, I'm right here. Why are you yelling?
Because that's what I do. You're always...
Back to live action, incomplete pass. Brings us to 2nd and 10. There are 2 flags at the 30-yard line.
I think the official's trying to fool us here.
They didn't want anybody at home to catch their breath.
It's a team sport. You got to be with us, officials.
You're headed to the restroom, come back.
Exactly. They playing the music, the band's playing. They fooling everybody.
At the distance to the goal, we play
Top
first
block
down.
on the running back, Terrion Stewart, number 4. And also on
Correction,
52.
15-yard penalty.
That's Jeremiah Banks Wall.
Chop block means the defender is engaged up top and you go low as a second guy. That's a very dangerous play. They outlawed that in football probably about 25 years ago. And it's been one of the best rule changes ever because it's cut out a lot of knee injuries on defensive players.
It's a 15-yard penalty, so it's 1st and 25 off the zone read. McDonald keeps, and that's a solid gain on 1st down up to the 30. So he gets 10 back. And that zone read's always tough to defend, particularly when the quarterback decides to carry it. We mentioned how young Bowling Green is, and just about everybody up front is going to have at least 1 or maybe 2 more years to play for Scott Loeffler.
Yeah, and this is not the game plan. This is not what they wanted. They didn't want to be this young and inexperienced up front. But you got to play the best guys. And your best guys are freshmen, true freshmen, redshirt freshmen. You got to go with them.
Left tackle, Banks Wool is a sophomore. Jalen Grant, a sophomore. Kate Zimmerly, the center, is a freshman. Right guard is a redshirt freshman. Malone Van Gordon. Jordan Murphy, well, he's the old man, the senior. McDonald pitch and catch deep, and that ball nearly picked off. Number 13 for South Alabama back defending, and that was C.J. Thompson.
If they're going to throw you interception balls, go ahead and make it happen. They're trying to give you the ball, South Alabama DBs. Go ahead and take it. You don't get too many opportunities like this. This is just a Hail Mary, almost 50-50 ball, trying to let your big guy make a play, but he overthrew him, and you got to come up with that ball. I mean, that's the difference in the ball game. Dropped interceptions right now.
3rd and 16. Clock stops with 5:26 to go. Let's see if the drop matters to Austin Osborne. Nowhere to go there on a quick check down. And so Bowling Green will give up the football, and that gives South Alabama now a chance to get it back and tie the score.
That's good defense from South Alabama. Great defense would have been catching the pick. All right, but that's good defense. You don't give up a lot of yards. You keep them backed up with the penalty. Make them punt from backed up. They're punting. The punter's standing around the 15-yard line. Make them punt from backed up. Now you're flipping the field for your offense.
Matt Naranjo with his 6th punt of the game. Back to catch is Cade Sutherland from College Park, Georgia. A low line drive kick that'll bounce a long ways. Ball loose. Bowling Green couldn't get it though. It'll be out of bounds to South Alabama at about the 10-yard line. Woo! Some nervous people on that play.
Very dangerous decision. I have no idea why you would go after this ball. Yeah, I understand that your coach says, hey, we don't want the ball to hit the ground, but it's already hit it now. And that thing is not round. It's not going to bounce right. It's oblong. It's going to be weird. Don't even chance it. Let that thing go out of bounds. Really lucky right now that the Jaguars still have the ball.
15. McGrary thought he should have had it. It's going to be a tough play anyway, but now the ball's back at the South Alabama 9. So the field has been flipped.
Yeah, and they're giving Sutherland an earful. Boy, he's really lucky.
Bowling Green in its 4-2-5 defense, typically dropping 7. No blitz there. And that one defended at the last moment and broken up nicely. Avon Ferguson has been very active today.
Yeah, you should dance. You should shimmy.
Well, he celebrates a lot, doesn't he? He likes playing football. You can tell that.
Yes, he does. And give me a corner who's like that, who has a short memory and loves to play. And he's playing on an island, but that time they play in zone coverage. He drops the guy in his zone because he's reading the quarterback and comes up and almost makes an unbelievable interception. But that's good zone coverage by a corner.
Bentley forced out of the pocket and throwing. Ball caught at the 15-yard line will bring up a 3rd down. Lincoln Sefcik, his 2nd catch of the game.
It's clear to me that Bowling Green is content to play zone. They're trying to rush with 4. We talked about, will you try to blitz and heat up this quarterback and how dangerous that can be. They're playing zone coverage right now.
They're getting some pressure with 4, aren't they?
They are. And when you can do that, there's no need to blitz. Why put yourself in that position?
Keep those 7 defenders back against the pass game. This is likely a passing down. Bennett looking to his right, throwing to his right, ball caught. Good enough 1st down. They'll mark it at the 24. And that's a pickup of 9. It's a nice safe pass. And more importantly on the catch by Daly, it is a 1st down.
And really that's a great pass. To throw that ball from the far hash and throw a deep out like that, that's an NFL type throw because it's a long way. All right, and that ball got there with enough time for him to catch and get his feet in bounds for a 1st down.
And now perhaps you can open things up. Even though you're still back at your own 20, at least you're not staring at your own goalpost. Jake Bennett with time over the middle and shoots that one too high. 2nd and 10. Jalen Tolbert was in the neighborhood. Who was that intended for, by the way?
Yeah, you tell me. I mean, I can tell you right now, Major Applewhite didn't draw it like that. You had 2 receivers in the same position. You never want that because one guy can cover both. And so that was some sort of blown route. Watch it here. Goes back, clean pocket, throws, and that's two guys.
Yeah.
One guy covering two. That's no good for offense.
That's one of
Ferguson
those
again.
things reviewed in the film or tape room afterwards, I'm sure.
That's right.
2nd and 10. Fake the draw out to the side. Tolbert with a catch, first down. He made them pay on a catch like that earlier in the game. Good for 57 yards, and when he gets that coverage on the outside, he can be tough to bring down.
Just keep giving it to him. I played against a guy named Barry Sanders, and Barry Sanders would run for 1 yard. He'd lose 3. 1 yard again. 2-yard gain. Just keep giving it to him. Bam, gone for 45 and a touchdown. That's the type of guy 5 is. He's not a running back. He's a receiver, but it's the same type of idea. Just keep getting it in his hands. Let him do it.
Long before your time, the great Jim Brown was like that, and he would be very slow to get up.
That's right.
Tackle, and then he would burn you later and carry for 200 yards. 1st and 10, South Alabama to sack. As Bennett brought down back to the 28-yard line. 97, Demetrius Hardiman. He's the linebacker out of Beaver Creek, Ohio.
That's what we talked about, right? Rushing 4. When you can get pressure with 4 guys, it makes it so much easier to call defensive signals and play defense. This is what really a lot of Super Bowl teams like the Giants, when they were playing Tom Brady, were built on. You didn't have to blitz. You play coverage and rush 4. That's what it's all about. The Tampa 2 is built on that. They're doing a great job right now in this second half of getting pressure with 4 people.
4 receivers set underneath coverage. And a pickup past the original line of scrimmage will present a 3rd now and 8 as Gallman with a catch for South Alabama. So it's dink and dunk right now, but trying to move the football down the field and get in position to tie the game.
Yeah, a little too much dancing when you caught that ball. Go ahead and get upfield, get yourself a couple extra more yards, and make this an easier conversion. Every single play isn't designed to be a home run. You got to catch it, get upfield, get yourself 3 more yards.
Check, that was Jalen Wayne on the catch. Picked up 9. It's 3rd and 7. Over the middle again. Checking down again. That's nowhere near a first down. So not much apparently is available right now for Bennett.
So if you're a USA fan, you're going, why throw that ball? Well, that's where his progression is taking them. They're playing off coverage. You want to run into the sticks, but again, you've got 8 yards to get to the first down, 7 yards to get to the first down. They're backing up, playing the sticks. That's all that's left, right? And that's what zone coverage affords you. And also, he knows he's got to get the ball out of his hands because the rush is coming.
Darren Anders, 23, in on the tackle. He has the pick 6 in the first half. Falcons continue to maintain a 7-point lead as we now have just under 1 minute remaining in the 3rd quarter. So if we can look ahead to the 4th quarter, what's going to matter most important in this game?
Execution, right? Right now, the defensive line of Bowling Green is starting to slowly take over the football game, right? And so if you're USA, do you continue to run the spread and let them rush one-on-one against your 5 guys? Or do you start now allowing a back to stay in, give your quarterback extra time, because you've got to get the ball to number 5. You got to find a way. And so if you got to manufacture time by going a couple guys in protection, you need to do that if you're Major Applewhite.
Get the impression if the Falcons could produce another touchdown, that might be enough to seal the game. Because South Alabama having trouble moving the ball. Matt McDonald checking down, and a big play here. To the 30-yard line on the catch by Tarrant Keith. That's a huge play, and the running backs have majored in this game rather significantly.
We talked about the missed tackles last week that played the Jaguar defense. Well, watch this. There's 1. We'll call that 1.5. 2.5 missed tackles allowed that big gain. You cannot allow guys to break tackles in your secondary and run free.
44 yards on the play. A field goal, at the very least, makes it a 2-score game. Ball now at the South Alabama 31 as we wind down the 3rd quarter.
Double pass.
Yeah. Gadget play. And picked off. You've been asking South Alabama to make defensive plays, and there's one right there. Keith Gallman, the safety, playing center field.
Well, Christian Sims will never be mistaken for a quarterback. That was a terrible throw. I mean, he
Throwing
was
on the
open,
field
but you
is
got to
an
throw that ball
interception in the
between
end
the
zone for a
safety and the corner.
touchback. First out.
He throws it too deep right into the safety's hands. Watch it. I like the design. I like the call. And it's there, but you got to throw that ball between the two defenders. He overthrows it, makes it an easy. And listen, that's not an easy catch. It was over the shoulder. But they had no chance of completing that pass. I guarantee you, in practice, he completed it because they would never called it.
Sure.
But that's one of those situations that, hey, you got to take it from the practice field to the game.
And this is the first time that one of the defenders did not drop a potential interception.
That's right. Kudos to the Jaguar defense.
Football brought out to the 20. Enthusiastic group here on hand as we approach the early evening hours.
Watch out for a deep ball here. Sudden change situation. Offenses like to go for the big play, and they run the ball, of course.
Well, maybe next time.
Have you noticed every time I try to make a prediction that goes the other way, you would think I'd be less pig-headed and keep my mouth closed.
We should have a statistic on that somewhere. We'll try to dig it up between
That
quarters.
is the end of the
That's
third
called doing
quarter.
too much.
After the run by Walker, to the fourth quarter we go, 19-12. Once again, still the game very much in doubt. How about these future opponents, starting with Tennessee in November of this year for Kane Wommack's team. Then to the Rose Bowl next year against UCLA, Oklahoma State in 2023, and then the SEC, LSU, and Auburn. They'll all be really good paydays for team out of the Sun Belt Conference, and we'll see how competitive they get when they go to Tennessee later this year.
Those are recruiting tools, too.
Oh, yes. Of course, what happens is you recruit the player and you tell them we're going to LA, we're going to LSU, and then they're excited about it, and then suddenly it's a business trip.
That's right. That's right.
You're not going to go see Disneyland out in LA.
But at least they can
you
tell.
might. I don't know.
But at least you can tell mom and dad, you'll see me on national TV.
Absolutely.
Playing against the big boys. And, you know, if they're upset that they didn't get recruited by them, it might be a motivational situation.
Think about the missed extra point by Bowling Green back in the first quarter, how it might matter here, because a touchdown and an extra point would tie this game. Quick release. And a catch by Lacey just beyond the 40-yard line.
And that's what that background in the Big 12 does for Major Applewhite. So many creative ways to get athletes in space, spreading a defense out and stretching them not only vertically but horizontally. And they're trying to force linebackers, slower guys, to make plays on smaller guys in space. And that's a really tough ask for the defense.
One of the few injuries we've had in this game. We'll try to dial in on the Falcon when we return here. Just seconds into the fourth quarter. Blitz coming, blitz successful, football loose. Who's got it? It's going to remain in the hands of South Alabama, but how about that blitz there that drops Bennett for a loss?
Living dangerous. We talked about in the open. If you decide to blitz, you better get home.
Yes.
Right? Because number 5 man coverage, he devours man coverage. That's his specialty. He's a man beater. But it doesn't matter if the quarterback goes to his rear end.
Linebacker Darren Anders was injured on the play when we went to commercial break. He's the star defender for the Falcons. They don't typically report what the injuries are. You'd think it might be a hammy, though.
Yeah, just the way his body language, the way he tried to stretch and reach for the play and came up limping.
And it'll be fourth down, and USA is going to have to give up the ball, though Jake Bennett thought there was some contact on his receiver.
Again, the pressure, the front from the Falcons is really humming now. They're getting pressure with minimal guys, with a timely blitz on second down, but in third down, that was just 4 rushers, and well, they're getting there.
How happy must the coordinator of the defense, Lewis, be with this?
Yeah, because now he can switch it up. He has versatility. He can call a timely blitz, but he has the 4 men to fall back on, and that time it was Billy Roberts getting pressure right after Miller.
Jack Brooks with yet another punt from his own 25.
It's returnable.
Ferguson unable to make anybody miss. They have swarmed all over him. And the official spot will be the 22-yard line.
Takes some courage to field that one now.
So in a game of chess, as coaches might refer to it, field position back advantage of South Alabama. Number 18 Osborne, number 3 McDonald were high school teammates in a well-to-do area, Mission Viejo, California, home of Olympic champion Greg Louganis from years back.
Okay, there you go.
Teammates in 2016. And you know, in light of a running game that's been ineffective, Osborne's going to be key here because he will serve in a lot of ways with those short catches as something that will replace the running game, I would think.
That's exactly right. And he's been very efficient because of those calls, getting the ball out of his hands. We talked about that takes pressure off of this offensive line. And he's got a guy that he knows from the crib. And he's got 6 catches. He's 3 away from his career high. Talking about Osborne.
Movement up front likely will penalize Bowling Green 5 yards. Haven't been a lot of penalties in this game. But let's see if contact was made for the defense first.
Ball start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard
Second and 7 now becomes second and 12.
Did he say 62? He might have been 52. I'm not sure.
He did. Matt's numbers, 68% completion, 17 of 25 for 258 on a score.
Best part of that, no INTs. Had a few interception balls. Should have a couple.
Sure.
I guess he had the one in the end zone, though.
But
right?
he didn't throw it.
That's right. That's right. That was the wideout.
Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. McDonald picks it up. He's got a first down. Credit that offensive line, as young as it is, of being able to make the plays necessary. And Broden with a catch takes them all the way up to the 44-yard line. But they did a good job of picking up the blitz.
How tickled is Terry Malone to have this guy back? And what a throw. I mean, that is a great on-time, on-target throw. When McDonald can get back, set his feet, and throw it on rhythm, boy, he looks really, really dangerous as a quarterback.
Now 18 of 26. And this youthful offensive line is doing a nice job of picking up those blitzes and allowing that big catch to the 44. McDonald, little shovel pass. Good for maybe 3 yards on the play. There's the run game again, non-existent. So you got to try something else, and something else is working right now.
That's exactly right. And that shovel pass it's a pass, but it's really a run. It's a run, right? They're faking the jet sweep and throwing a little shovel pass inside. That's just another way to run the football with zone blocking, but trying to test the eye discipline of the USA defense. And that time, the guys in white was up to the task.
When that pass is incomplete, fans get excited because they think that's a loose ball.
Right.
But it's not. 2nd and 8. Under 11 to go. McDonald to the outside again.
My goodness.
Darren Keith, who had a huge reception earlier in this second half, with a big one there. Once again, the blitz is being handled by this youthful offensive line.
That's right. The initial pressure's handled. Now watch McDonald stand in there and take a hit from a big guy. I'm just telling you right now, I'm getting more and more impressed, and he's getting better and better as this game goes on. This is the guy I thought I'd see earlier in the game, but he's showing up now. I see you, number 3.
Wanted to go with a quick game today to offset some of South Alabama's rush, and they have been effective in the passing, particularly in the second half.
Yeah.
Now they'll shoot one down the field. Why not? And incomplete. Contact between receiver and defender, but nothing called. Yeah, Banks, who had 5 tackles in the first half back defending. And that, by the way, is a career best for him.
And he's showing great versatility because that was excellent coverage. That was man coverage up the seam. Did a nice job. And if I'm not mistaken, that was the jet sweep guy, the fly sweep fake guy. So he already had a running start. So, well, that's really impressive now for Yam Banks to turn and run like that. And that's another freshman.
South Alabama trying to prevent a score that would make a 2-possession game out of it. Right now still in striking distance, but Bowling Green on the move. From the 43. Good open field tackle there. made number 15, Yam Banks. Who else?
Zone coverage, see the ball caught in front of you, come up and make a hit. And what that does, that stays with receivers. They start thinking when that ball's in the air, am I going to get hit again? Let the physical tackle. Nice job of putting his shoulder in. That's the type of tackle that saves the game. Okay, you didn't no head in there, no potential for injury. That's a good, solid football tackle, technically sound, and the ball carrier goes down, no extra yards.
Johnson had that 31-yard catch in the Rocky Top the previous Thursday against Tennessee. Made the catch there, and now timeout's going to be called.
Timeout. Bowling Green.
By Bowling Green.
First.
Their first timeout of the second half. 9.5 left. Bowling Green with a timeout. Scott Loeffler back to work, the head coach of Bowling Green in year number 3. His team with 9.5 to go, protecting a 7-point lead. But to keep the football, they must gain 6 yards here on third down.
It's a big play for the Jaguar defense. Can you get off the field and put your team back on it? I don't think Bowling Green's in field goal range. So you got to play the sticks right here.
South Alabama, as an FBS team since 2013, has never gone 2-0. Now there's an opportunity today.
With a lead now, you might throw the ball to the end zone. It wouldn't be a horrible thing to throw the ball to the end zone in this situation.
Yeah, McDonald smothered back at the 48-yard line. He never had a chance.
Never.
14, C.J. Rias with the blitz. And as much as we talked about how the offensive line's been defending well, on this play, C.J. had open chance on the quarterback.
And that right there, but that gives me goosebumps. Did you see that spin move? Absolutely beautiful. You can't teach athleticism like that. All you can do is hope to land an athlete on the edge of your defense who can rush that way. Wow, CJ, that was beautiful. That was an NFL type move right there. Keep doing that.
I know you'd appreciate it. You were the sack master at Penn State for 3 years.
And my favorite move was a spin move, but it never looked that pretty.
See if there's a fair catch here. Instead, the ball will bounce inside the 10-yard line. So South Alabama's got to go roughly 90 yards to tie the game. Plenty of time to do it. All 3 timeouts still remaining.
Sure.
But mounting a 90-yard drive, we're pretty close to it. 87 yards is had difficulty moving the football in this game. Just one drive so far that's resulted in a touchdown.
With the time on that clock, though, you can just play your base offense. They're open and spread enough. They don't have to do anything out of character. You can still run the football. You still got plenty of time in this game. I would not get out away from my game plan. I would just try to find a way continually, again, try to find a way to get number 5 the ball.
Jalen Wayne, one of the wide receivers to one side, Jalen Tolbert to the other. 1st and 10. They'll run the football here. Positive gain on first down.
I think that's smart. You didn't get a lot of yards, but you picked up 3.5. That's smart because, again, the defense can't just go rush the pass. It's just not, a 7-on-7 drill the whole rest of the game. You've got to defend the run. That'll slow the pass rush down, and then you can figure out how to get number 5 the ball.
Here's number 5, Jalen Tolbert with a catch. Flags being thrown. Fans on the Bowling Green side saw something they didn't like.
Yeah, they saw a hold. And I think it was Jalen Wayne. That's a long, developing play.
It will be against South Alabama as the field judge is signaling right now.
10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
You are correct. Junior out of Mobile, Alabama.
When you're on the corner of the offense and you're in open space, you're on the hot seat. It's like you have a spotlight on you. And if you're blocking, you have to be very disciplined with your hands. To be fair to Wayne, again, it was such a slow developing play. They're asking him to block a guy in space for a long time. But you got to do it. That would have been a first down, positive yardage. Now they backed up and off schedule.
Penalty comes by way of the first down make, so it's now actually 2nd and 8. Setting up a screen pass. It gains very little.
Oh, that's great pursuit by that defense. But Brooke Horn, he defeats the block in space and makes the tackle by himself. That's not an easy play to defend. That was a double screen, fake the one side, come back to the other side. Again, testing the eye discipline of this Bowling Green defense. But Brooke Horn says, no way, I'm not confused. I'm not taking the eye candy. I'm reading my keys and going.
Tioga, they must pick up 5 to continue the drive or otherwise give up the ball. Halfway through the 4th quarter. Back to the ground, and with the push straight ahead, they've got the first down.
Oh, that takes onions right there to run the ball up inside 35.
Yes, it does.
It does, right? But I like it. Again, we talked about not getting away from your core game plan. They want to spread you out. They want to make you defend the run so that they can hit you downfield. And give some love to this offensive line. I mean, that's man on man, big on big. They're getting some movement. And then look at the outstanding, tough run to finish it off. When your backs are falling forward, that's a really good thing for the offense.
Got Ja'Kai Baker up front, Merchant as well. Another strong run on first down, and another first down along with that. You got the center, James Jackson. Trey Simpson, the right guard, and the right tackle, Antoine Lewis, as Avery carries for a first down.
Yeah, and the quarterback's doing a really good job of handling those snaps. There have been some snaps that are off. You see that off target? Look at the poise, though. See, when you got a senior grad transfer, he's seen it all. He just plays right through it, puts it in the bread basket. But I'm not going to break my arm, pat myself on the back, partner. But I love the fact that they're continuing to run the football. We said with this much time, you don't have to get away from the run.
6 minutes to go, and still all 3 timeouts to utilize. Another low snap. It doesn't matter. Another first down run. Avery carries. Well, first, the problem is the low snaps, but Avery is so low to the ground, maybe they can't find him.
Great point. I mean, he's 5'8", right? So it's just getting him to bend his knees, get down there and get it.
It's like where is he?
Yeah, look at that, like a shortstop, just gobbling it up. And then look at the little guy go. And I like the way he's finishing. Look at him finish the run. As a defense, you do not want backs falling forward. It's just a pride thing. You know, I never like when I see backs. Watch him fall forward at the end. No, you got to put him going the other way. Send a message, and I like the way these backs now are finishing off these runs.
Good sign to see Darren Anders back in. We thought maybe a hamstring was the issue, but he appears to be okay.
Good for him.
In the meantime, we do have an injured Falcon, and that's number 7. That's Devon Ferguson, who has been quite active in the defense today.
Let's hope he can come back the same way Anders did, because they can't afford to lose him.
Also been a kick returner and a punt returner on occasion.
Versatile player. 5'10", 190, but he sort of looks longer than that, in live in person, right?
He does.
Baltimore, Maryland, transfer from Kansas.
We're talking about 9/11 and Scott Loeffler because he coached at Boston College. I mean, the tragedy hit home 20 years ago, but they still felt in the Boston area for years because of the number of people that were lost. And he said, you know, when you coach at BC, you're not too far removed from the Twin Towers and what happened back in 2001. On the day where the country is remembering and saluting those people that survived and also the people that passed.
For me, it's about the selflessness and courage that it takes for men and women to run into a building that's falling down and burning, as opposed to running out. And I'm just being, I'm running out. Because, you know, I don't have that type of courage. And so for me, that's what really causes me to say, hey, I'm gonna salute all first responders, because they do jobs that I would never do, and I appreciate them for that. And they don't get enough kudos for putting their life on the line for others.
Wasn't it so interesting, too, that Scott Loeffler told us, look, I was so angry when I saw the attack. I wanted to sign up and go to war.
That's right.
And stop coaching at Central Michigan and get on to more important things. He said the only time in his life he's been so angry about something that happened in this country.
And we saw that in the National Football League. You know, Pat Tillman, Pro Bowl safety, left millions of dollars on the table because he was motivated to go and join his service and try to defend his country. And unfortunately, he dies, the late Pat Tillman, but he has a statue outside of the stadium in Arizona, as he should. Was a tremendous player, all heart, a Pac-10 All-American at Arizona, played linebacker in college, moved to safety and became a Pro Bowler. But again, the selflessness, gave up millions of dollars because he loved the country so much. And you see that remembered a lot on a day like this.
Well said. How about back-to-back-to-back rushing first downs for South Alabama.
After not being able to move the ball the length of my finger.
And nothing but low snaps and big gains by Avery. This is Avery off a good snap, and he dices his way for a solid gain on first down now into Bowling Green territory.
Remember the old Washington football counter trade they used to run with John Riggins? I know you old like me, right? Now this is the...
Love watching them.
Yeah, this is the 2021 version of the counter trade. You do it out of shotgun, right? Out of the pistol formation, but it's the same principles. You're pulling the backside tackle and guard, come around, and you need a patient runner that can hit it up inside once the blocks are made.
So if you're the Falcons, you put more in the box here defensively? Better not,
Be
because,
careful.
yeah, Jake's going to throw, and he's got a first down inside the 40-yard line.
See, that play, you got a really good shot from this booth, how they're defending Tolbert, right? You got a corner who's carrying him underneath, and you got a safety over the top. So he's trying to get the ball to Tolbert, and then he checks it down to the underneath guy. That's exactly what he should do. That's great discipline by Jake Bentley, not to try to force feed his superstar, but allow the progression to take you where the ball should go.
And that was Lincoln Sefcik on the catch for the first down. Now 38 yards away from a touchdown and a game-tying extra point. What a drive this has been from the 13-yard line of USA.
How about the crowd getting into it, too?
Oh, yeah. Bennett steps up, quick release. Is that Avery again who made a man miss? He's been good at that so far, not only as a running back, this time as a receiver.
That time he made Brooke Horn miss. We saw Brooke Horn come up and make a one-on-one tackle off of a block. This time, no one's blocking him. He's got an athlete in space, and that's just tough. That's tough cover, right? I mean, you got a 50-50 proposition against a quick guy like Avery, and that's the advantage offense right there.
And on this drive, they have gained more than 40 yards just on first down plays.
Wow.
2nd and 5. Jake Bennett releasing, nothing there. In fact, he might have been wise just to throw it away, because that's going to be a loss on the play, and there was nowhere to throw it, really.
And right now, Jalen Tolbert's like, yeah, I know you want to get the ball to me, but not right there,
yeah,
teammate. Come on now. You hold the ball that long, and they're playing zone coverage. They're going to come up and tattoo me.
Well, we're certainly looking at 4-down territory here this late in the game.
I would think so, sure. I mean, you're under 4 minutes. And that tells me that Bentley does not have to take any chances. Let the progression tell you where to go with the ball. This is 4-down territory.
Falcons will rush 3 and drop 8. Incomplete.
A lot of contact.
No penalty flag, though. Devin Taylor back defending for Bowling Green, and now it's 4th down.
Love to see a replay there if I can get it. Well, I don't know. Taylor might have got away with one. There's something called illegal contact. And when you pass 5 yards, you can't make contact with the receiver. And I don't think the camera picked it up. There was some contact at the top of that route. They could have drawn a flag, but it didn't. Play on.
Biggest play of the game. 4th and 8 with USA down 7 and 3 to go.
Got him.
Got a first down. Lacey on the catch. Big play. Injured Falcon on the play as well. That's Davon Ferguson who is down.
He's trying to gut it out. Love the call, though.
Down to the 16-yard line.
They sent Tolbert on a clear out and brought the crosser underneath it.
Plenty at stake today. South Alabama trying to be 2-0 for the first time in FBS since entering FBS land back in 2013. And Bowling Green trying to win its home opener and get the rebuild continuing here under Scott Loeffler.
I love that last call because you sent Tolbert on a clear out route and brought a guy underneath. Sometimes a superstar can make an impact without even touching the ball.
16 yards away from a touchdown and an extra point that would tie the game. Jake Bennett. Here comes pressure. He releases. And Avery with the catch. He picked up the blitz in time. It's a short game, but he got out of trouble, and that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think that was a design rollout pass or flare pass because they're trying to get these linebackers in space against the Averys and the Walkers and the Hills of the world because they feel like they got a mismatch. The problem was it was into the boundary. If he had a little more space, maybe into the field, he might have been able to make something happen. But when you go into the boundary, you're bringing the sideline into the game. And as I said before, the sideline has never missed a tackle.
Ever.
That's right.
Again from the shotgun. Back to the run game. Avery trying to bust a tackle, unable to get clear as he was picked up by number 12, J.B. Brown. And also in over to help out with Cy Dabney, the safety.
Again, Major Applewhite from the Big 12. Pass-happy conference. Open up. He continues to stay disciplined with the run, right? And that creates a third and medium, maybe a little bit longer than medium. But the best news is you can still get a first down, right? You only need 8 or so yards, 7 or so yards to get the first down. So that's in play as well. 4-down territory either way.
Big play for the Jags here. Back to the running game. Touchdown. How about that call?
Onions, stones. I don't know what else to call them.
Right on both accounts.
Right. You got to know the situation. He's reading the defense. They're playing pass. Look how long it takes for the linebackers to react up. They're thinking pass, and that's untouched, right? How often do you see backs run untouched in the red zone? It's because they're concerned about the pass. They're concerned about number 5. They're concerned about Jake Bentley throwing the ball over the field. You hit him with a run. Great job of blocking by the offensive line.
Big extra point try for Guajardo here to tie the game. 19-19. Hard to believe this is the first tie we've had in the game so far. And here's the touchdown to put Hayne Wommack's team in position now, potentially to win this game.
Look at the blocking. I mean, this Velcro's on the jersey of the Brown team because the guys in white are not only blocking, but they're sustaining their block. It's okay to get blocked as a defender because that's how it's drawn up, but you got to get off blocks, and no one's getting off. And when you only got 8 or so, 9 or so yards for the end zone, that's a pretty easy score. That's about as easy as a touchdown from that distance that number 25 is going to have all year.
So let's set the stage. Now the game tied. Bowling Green has 2 timeouts remaining and an excellent field goal kicker in Nate Needham, who buried a 42 and a 50-yarder against Tennessee. Now, he did miss an extra point, but he still has a chance to win this game. And let's recap the game that started with special teams. Patrick Day with the block here on the South Alabama punt that put the Falcons up 2-0. And then Darren Anders with a pick 6 that made it 8-0 from 27 yards out. Needham missed the extra point. Kareem Walker back with a rushing touchdown for South Alabama. Then McDonald, long-range score to Andrew Bench. And now Avery on a great call here in the red zone to tie the game. Bentley now 29 of 46 for 257. Avery with a rushing touchdown from 13 yards out. Bowling Green will start for the 25. So if Needham's range is 50 or potentially better, get to the 35-yard line of South Alabama with a chance to win it. This kid's been pretty active today, hasn't he, Ferguson?
Yes, he has. Has fought through some nicks, some injuries. It's different between being hurt and being injured.
Tough player.
He's in pain right now.
Love to have a few of those on your side, huh?
Yes, right. Because he's playing through it, and he's giving it up for his team.
Let's see how aggressive the Falcons are now with those 2 timeouts. All 3 timeouts remain for USA, so you got to be careful not to give them the ball back.
That's right. And first down is critical in a situation like this because this will determine the rest of this series, how the rest of this series is called.
Fly sweep on first down, not much available. In fact, there'll be a loss on the play.
It hasn't worked all night. And we knew that South Alabama was going to be ready for it because the staff talked about it.
South Alabama will use one of its 3 timeouts here.
Please reset the game clock to 1:32.
So the clock stops with $1:29 left in regulation. It is 2nd and 12.
Excuse me. Corey Batoon talked about we have to have great eye discipline because they do the fly sweeps and they fake and do so many things off of it. And all they're doing is trying to test your eyes. See, in football, Jim.
So you're following the quarterback with eye discipline, right?
Well, no, you're following your keys.
Gotcha.
And they want you to follow the quarterback. See, there's an old saying in football, and it's my old saying.
Sure.
And I'm going to be honest with you. It's my old saying. If you see a little, you see a lot. But if you see a lot, you see nothing. Just play your keys. Don't look in the backfield for all the things that are going on. You got one or two, exactly. You got one or two men to read that will take you to the football. As soon as you start looking at all the funny stuff, you get out of position. Right now, USA has done a great job. And I'm not saying right now, all game he's done a great job on all the eye candy.
Second and 12. Big play for Bowling Green, setting up a screen on the outside. But South Alabama smelled it in a hurry. There is no gain on the play, and they'll use another timeout.
Good play.
So if you're Bowling Green, you're about to give the ball back, which means you should be a little more aggressive on third down, should you not?
I think you have to, because the field position especially, but what a play by Quentin Wilfon. Watch him react up, playing a nickel backer. Look at him stick his foot in the ground. Now, there are blockers coming from, but he's outrunning the blockers. And now he doesn't miss the tackle. Excellent job. You see a lot of players come up and try to come to balance and want to dance. No, you go up and shoot your gun. You know the leverage. If you miss them, you turn them back to your teammates who are hustling from the inside out. That is fundamental of tackling in the open field. Great job by the junior from Oxford, Mississippi.
In the meantime, when play resumes for Scott Loeffler's team, they must get the ball to the 35 to keep the football. Otherwise, they'll give it up, and then that means South Alabama will have a chance to win it in regulation. Sometimes the last 2 minutes of a game can go very long because there's a whole lot in it.
That's right. Now, Matt McDonald's got to be very careful. You know South Alabama is going to be playing the sticks, as you see the kicker from BG trying to figure out if he's going to get a shot. But you got to be really careful where you place this ball. They're going to be playing the sticks and trying to make a pick.
Need to pick up 12. Four-man rush. McDonald, short pass, short. Ball loose. South Alabama says it has it. And the Jags take over.
Oh.
Inside the 35-yard line.
By the defense. First down.
That's Wilfon again. I don't know if he made the strip or the recovery. And you see it so often where guys are trying to struggle for the first down. That ball dribbles out.
Looked like a shortstop making a play there, right to him.
Yeah, and there he is. Oh, what a punch out right there. Who is that? Number 20? I can't see that number, partner.
They'll be reviewing the play, but
is that knee
play
down?
on the field should stand. That's a good question.
Oh, that's out. There's no question. That's out. That's Sean Jennings. What a great job. A Peanut Tillman punch out. And Peanut Tillman made that famous, the great former Bear All-Pro, and boy, he would come up and punch that ball out of receiver's hands as he's making a tackle, and that's exactly what you saw from Sean Jennings right there. And then Quentin Wilfon hustling to the ball. Great job of getting down and getting that football.
Football will be at the 32 of Bowling Green. Right now for Diego Guajardo, that would be about a 50-yard kick.
You know, it's a funny thing in football. If football comes down to generally about 7 to 9 big plays, but you don't know when they're coming. So as a player, you have to play all out every single play because that might be the one. And what I saw was a bunch of guys hustling. They knew that he wasn't going to get the first down, but they weren't content with that. You got to punch out, and you got another guy hustling to the football, Johnny on the spot to get the recovery.
Great position now for South Alabama. Bowling Green can stop the clock twice. South Alabama can stop it once.
If you're Major Applewhite, it's like Burger King. You have it your way. Whatever you want. You want to run it? Fine. You want to throw it? That's good too. Whatever you want. This is where offensive coordinators begin to build a legacy, what kind of play caller they are.
The give is to Avery. Straight ahead, positive gain. Spot at the 30-yard line. Bowling Green, how to use your timeouts here?
Well, I mean, I'm using them early and often. I mean, I want the opportunity to try to get the ball back.
You can stop the clock twice, so they're not going to stop it here.
Because let's think about it. The clock is not an issue for the Jags.
No.
All they want is field position, in which they're in right now, basically. So they want the clock to run.
Shouldn't snap the ball until under 10, I would think, or maybe close to 5.
That's exactly right.
They'll snap it at 10. Back to Avery. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Let's see if Bowling Green uses a timeout here, and they will. So the Falcons call timeout with 38 seconds to go. And right now for Diego Willardo,
30 seconds.
Willardo, the kick would be about 47 yards.
Now imagine if they'd used a timeout before that. You probably have another 30 seconds on the clock. I mean, but it is what it is at this point. It's third down.
Well, they'll certainly use a timeout after this next running play. I would imagine they'll try to center at the middle of the field or pretty close to it. But a left-handed kicker.
Well, here's the question.
Kicker.
Do you try to kick now? I mean, I don't know if, you know, 30 seconds, 38 seconds. I mean, you try to kick now just in case there's a bad snap. Right?
You rarely see that. They could do that, though.
Yeah. I mean, in case you bad snap, you just pick it up and throw the ball out of bounds and play the fourth down. They probably won't, but it's just something to think about. If you feel like the kicker can make it from here, why not do it on third down? Again, 38 seconds is not a tremendous amount of time.
The wind is in his direction. It's not nearly as strong as it was prior to the game. He's a left-footed kicker, as you know, and he already has a couple of field goals in this game.
Yeah, offense on the field. So right now it's all about ball security and putting the ball where your kicker wants it. Does he like it in the middle? Does he like it on the hash? Where does your guy like it? Run the ball to that area of the field, 2 hands on the ball, get what you can get, and don't fumble it.
Probably back in the hands of Avery, I would imagine, here on third down. Yep, straight ahead. Bucking for that first down. He'll be short by 2 or 3 yards, and the Falcons will use their last timeout. Or will they?
That clock's running.
Clock is still moving. That's surprising.
I'm not sure I quite understand that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, you know, the clock, you're not only playing it, if you're Bowling Green, you're not only playing the Jags, but you're playing the clock right now. So you're basically saying this game has come down to one play, and that's the field goal. Don't really understand that.
Timeout. South Alabama.
Are you that confident in your field goal block?
Final. It'll be 30 seconds.
No, you blocked the punt so far.
And even if you block it, don't you want some time on the clock to run a couple?
Which would have been about 30 seconds.
Clock,
sure.
You know, can't carry those timeouts with you, so.
Kane Womack's team now with a chance to win the game at the foot of this man. Diego Willardo, who is 2 for 2 today. His season best is 48. Spotted the football, line of scrimmage 26. Probably be about a 43-yarder to win it.
And if I know Coach Ligashevsky, he's telling his defensive line, we want to block this, but you can't be offsides. We do not want to give an extra 5 yards to this kicker. So be on sides. Don't line up offsides. My guy's on the corner who's going to be trying to block this field goal. Don't be offsides. On the other side, you're telling the same thing to your offensive lineman. No false starts.
44-yarder to win it. And Bowling Green will try to freeze him with a timeout.
Is that why he saved it?
Probably.
There you go. Hey, here's the method.
There's your answer.
Right,
30 seconds.
He's been coaching a long time. He knows what he's doing.
Well, you know this much. Even if you had called a timeout earlier, you only have 30 seconds to try to go a long distance to, at that point, tie the game, and assuming that Diego hits this field goal.
Right. So he made a judgment call that the value of the 30-second save was not as great as the value of icing the kicker. And so he will, if somehow this ball does not go through the uprights, he's going to look like a genius.
Sure.
And that's coaching, though, right? I mean, you know, there are going to be people second-guessing, idiots like me trying to figure out what you're doing.
Well, you know what? We asked him about the pressure of turning his program around. He said, what pressure? I was a coach at Michigan.
Right.
I coached in the greatest game of all time, as it was pegged, 1 against 2, Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah. And you think the current Michigan coach is under some pressure right now?
Oh, yes. Playing Washington in about a half hour. Length of this game, 3.5 hours. It has not lacked for entertainment.
And it has come down to this. What a game.
Diego Willardo with a chance to be the hero from 44 out. Ball down, kick on the way. It's got distance. Game over.
Wow.
South Alabama wins it.
Field goal attempt is good. And your final score of the game is South Alabama 22, Bowling Green 19.
They just kept playing. It started off as ugly as it possibly could be, and he just kept playing. A ton of mistakes, a ton of corrections are coming, but guess what? It's going to feel a whole heck of a lot better going home with a win.
And credit Major Applewhite, the offensive coordinator, as you mentioned several times, of sticking with the running game even with some frustration in the first half. It was the rushing game in the fourth quarter with 3 straight first downs that set up the game-tying score, and then came back with the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, they could not run the football in the first half. We knew that they talked about it was a point of emphasis during the week, but they didn't come out and do it in the first half. But boy, it took a lot of guts to come back to it down 7 in the fourth quarter, and it worked out.
36 with a big smile on his face.
Listen, I'm not a big fan of kickers, but guess what? He gets the game ball today. Kickers do a lot of Gatorade drinking during practice when the other guys are hustling, but it comes down to one play. He's got one job, and he did it.
Well, they iced him with a timeout.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. Good snap, good hold, good kick.
And when you do it perfectly, partner, it doesn't matter, right? If you get that ball off in 1.3 or less, there's nothing the defense can do.
Ain Womack. He got a smile there.
Mm-hmm.
And for Scott Loeffler, this is a tough way to go.
Oh, it hurts.
With the lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And losing by 3, 22-19.
This is the process. This is the maturation process of a young team. They're going to watch this film. There's going to be a lot of learning next week watching this film. You have to take advantage of all the good things that happen. You got to put a team down when you got them down. Keep them down.
First time for South Alabama at 2-0 in the FBS. Thank you for joining us today from Bowling Green, Ohio and Falcon Stadium. Final score, South Alabama 22, Bowling Green 19.